Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first week of the Victoris Rivals series, League of Legends, here on the Victoris Esports channel. I am your host for tonight, and tonight only, unless Dodge needs me to sub in again, Becky Rita. Normally I'm on Friday nights, but I'm here today. And joining me again on the desk, we've got Kongman and Shogun both familiar faces here back on the desk. It's been so long for you two. It's been a few weeks spent since the end of the last split, and I'm sure you both are ready to get into the action. Kong man, how are you doing? Looking good. Looking good today. I love what you got going on there.
Thank you, thank you. This is totally 100% natural grown and not because I'm too lazy to shave.
Hey,
For
yeah,
real,
you know,
for
it looks
real.
fine. Looks fine.
Thank you, thank you.
And Shogun, how are you? How are you hanging in there?
I'm doing good. Very excited to get back into the swing of things for sure. Especially with all the changes that have come out. I feel like there's been a drastic shift in the meta ever since like the end of the last split.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned changes because quite literally today, or it was either no, it was yesterday. I just didn't patch it yesterday. Yesterday we had a patch go through for 12.16. New Udyr not available for 2 weeks to be played in the regular season, but there were plenty of other changes to champions within the meta to sort of try and shake things up from the very Yumi Seraphine dominated metagame we've got right
Love
now.
you.
Of course, arguably they Riot has failed. Depends on who you ask. But oh, is that me? No, it's not me. Okay. That's I was hearing some robot noises. I was going into my Atari, I guess. But getting back on track here, it's the start of a new split, the start of a new season, and that means, of course, we've got new teams and new personalities jumping in on the Rift, and of course, some old faces as well, returning to try and claim that title. If you're unfamiliar with the Victoris Rivals series, a quick rundown. The format is, of course, best of threes. There are three groups each week. Every team will play a best of three versus another team, and they will decide those through the single round robin. I'm very I just woke up from a nap like not that long ago, so I'm trying to get into the swing of things here. Um,
All good.
yeah, so these teams, three groups of 8 teams, they're gonna play a single round robin, one best of three against every other team in their group. At the end, the top 4 teams of each groups will advance to playoffs, which there is a round of 12, which is also BO3, and then quarterfinals onward are best of 5. And these teams are going to be competing for a prize pool of first place will receive $700 for their team, and second place will receive 300. And that is pretty decent for this level of play. So I'm sure all these teams will be very committed to get going and get some really good performances down. We've got a lot of returning orgs, as I stated before. Today, however, I don't actually recognize either of these orgs from the leagues that I've cast in before. So I'm gonna ask you two, what can you tell me about our teams tonight in our grand opening matchup? Contingent Orange versus Rise of the Middlesticks Darkwind. What can you tell me about these two teams?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say I absolutely love the Rise of the Middle Sticks team name. That is definitely something that stands out. Apparently, whenever I was watching the draft show last week, Camcom noted that Middle Sticks is actually a returning team from the very first season of Victoris.
Oh.
So
Oh.
apparently they took quite a bit of time off, and now they've returned, hoping to get a title. And Contingent Esports, I do believe this is a newer team. I don't know if they got promoted from the previous the what VAD.
VAS it would
Yeah,
be. But
VAS.
um I have no idea. I have not seen this team before, and I've dabbled in pretty much every league. Honestly, this is the only one that haven't really spent much time with, so that's why I'm a little more I'm a little less familiar with some of these teams and some of these orgs, but very interesting to see. I have not seen Contingent Orange. Perhaps they've played before, but if not, we're going to see their debut on the Rift today. So, yeah, it's going to be some exciting stuff, and there are going to be some exciting games ahead of us for sure. Shogun, before we move on, do you happen to know anything about Contingent Orange, or is this also a new team for you?
Contingent Esports Orange, not really. I feel like their jungler's name is a little familiar to me. Cute Deer Girl does sound familiar, or
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
just
I'm
that
a
it's really funny.
I
But
I'm a
like,
Lilia fan. I'm a Lilia fan. I respect
Same.
it.
mhm. But yeah, other than that, not really. None of the names really ring a bell. But I mean, I'm excited to see new faces, no matter what, if they are actually new faces, and hopefully they'll leave a mark in this first series of. I feel like they usually have a team in a league. I feel like last split maybe that wasn't true. They've been absent for a little bit, but glad to see them back. Big fan of that organization. The name, as we've already mentioned, very nice, and usually they field some pretty good rosters. So I do feel pretty good about their chances in the series.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, we were talking a bit before the show about who we would favor going into this, and I suppose since I'm already talking about it, we can go ahead and pull up the predictions and take a look at what we have felt were the winning teams here. And Cogman, you last split had a fairly good record in terms of predictions in comparison to your first split, where it was
Mm.
less than ideal. And
Mm.
I'm on the Cogman streak personally. I'm on like I haven't had a correct prediction in literal months. So, hopefully that does not spell doom for Rise of the Middle Sticks, who maybe I don't think they're going to win for any logical reason, but Fiddlesticks has been carrying me in my solo queue games recently. I've been grinding a lot of jungle Fiddlesticks, so I'm gonna believe in the power of the Scarecrows tonight, and I'm gonna go for them. Shogun, you also are looking for Rise of the Middle Sticks. Do you have a more nuanced reason you could give me?
Uh, no, I think the reason was I feel like on an individual level they looked a little bit better.
Okay.
From what I saw,
Interesting.
that was a big reason for me. I do think though, if you look at it, there might be a bit of a discrepancy, just a slight one in like the top lane, because you have a D4 top laner laning against a D or a P2 top laner.
Mhm.
And we've seen that matter a good bit where top diffs have decided games. And I think that's a pretty solid win condition for the side of Contingent Esports Orange to play through. And that's why I think they'll be able to get a game, but I don't think they're going to take it home. I do think it's still going to be ROTM, but it will be a close series at 2-1.
Okay, and on the other half of the desk, Kongman,
Wrong.
Captain Correct over there. Why are you going for CEO? These teams are relatively even, so I want to know what's sort of the breaking point for you.
Well, Shogun did kind of briefly mention it, and since Shogun has casted with me for a few splits now, Shogun, what is the one thing I always say decides the factor of each game?
Someone who picked Shyvana.
Okay, well, besides that one,
Top lane, top diff,
yes,
top
yes,
diff.
top diff, top lane wins, and we do have a D4 top lane versus a P2 top lane. I don't want to say that this is going to be completely one-sided because I don't want to cast a curse, but as you know what I say, if you feed your top laner and your top laner gets ahead, you just win the game. Because I do believe, ever since the durability patch, we're still in that form of a meta.
Yeah, I mean, snowballing bruisers just running people over is quite dangerous. There are a lot of really good bruiser picks in the top lane you can pick, and a lot of really just solid champions, and more so since now Yuumi has become super popular, not just as a tool for enabling champions like Zeri, but also for just stapling to your Olaf and letting him run the enemy team over. So because of some of the other meta champions, that sort of bruiser focused top lane carry style could end up coming into play here, and top diff could matter. Maybe there have been in the pro leagues, we've been seeing a lot of focus towards bot lane, however. So with the changes on patch 12.16, we saw some 80 carry adjustments. What can we expect this patch? I mean, these teams have likely not had a lot of practice, but can we expect this patch to come with any meaningful changes to what we'd expect, what we have been seeing previously and what we saw at the end of last split?
This patch specifically, I don't remember if we were seeing a lot of Zeri. I think she was in her busted phase by the end of the split. I think they finally decided to kill her with the
Good.
changes.
Good.
I agree. Her W actually got severely nerfed from where it was before, I believe, or maybe it's like not that crazy. I can't remember what exactly. I'm looking at it now. Her Q and her W got hit. Basically,
Mhm.
her Q, instead of having that 130% AD scaling, it's only 100%, which is still pretty good on the scaling of it, but it won't do nearly as much damage. The AP ratio as well was lowered by 20%. And then if you look at how they lowered the Q, I believe what they did is okay, so I think they made it more of a scaling type of thing, or they nerfed its scaling. I can't tell. Okay, no, I think they nerfed the scaling damage that it does and kept the base damage the same. So she's gonna scale a little bit worse, which is not great when you're playing something like this Zeri who wants to scale a bunch. And then of course Yuumi getting hit with the nerfs. She actually did get a mid-patch update that
Oh
buffed her
yes.
a little bit, which was
For
weird.
some reason. For some
Which
reason.
Deserved.
Yeah, I'd say deserved. They actually insanely increased her Q damage. Looking at this, I was looking at
Oh
this earlier.
yes.
I think like at max
Late
level,
game.
your Q, yes, your Q does like 50 more damage like on a base level, and then like 1% more of like their target's current health. So like her damage got buffed, which I don't think was necessary. I'm pretty sure it was her healing that they were targeting to begin with. So that to me makes sense. I think taking away healing and adding some damage to her makes her still playable, but not as dominant as she once was. To the point where there are still those nuances where you can pick Yumi and it'll be good, but now you can't just slap Yumi on basically anything and have the easiest and freest game of your life, which I think is perfectly fine.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that is a very nice adjustment. The fact that they buffed her damage, it still makes me a little nervous because Yuumi is just one of those anti-fun champions. But Seraphine has actually survived another patch without major changes, and has still been a very high priority pick. Maybe less so in pro play recently, but in lower and mid levels of play, you see Seraphine so often. And do you think that we're going to be seeing more Seraphine today? Is this a champion team should be looking at, or has her time come to an end? And
Carman, I'll let you
either you
take
can answer.
if you want it, or I can take it. I'm good either way.
I mean, I'm kind of a Seraphine fan, so I do believe Seraphine will always kind of be a decent pick.
Mm-hmm.
Player jungle. That's what I'll say for you. But yeah, Shogun, you can take this one away because although I am a Seraphine fan, I don't get a lot of time playing her because unfortunately I'm a jungle main, so I rarely ever get to break free of the jungle itself.
Yeah, no, understandable. I do think Seraphine is still in a pretty decent spot. I think Seraphine Senna is still pretty broken. It's just for the longest time there were so many other picks in the ADC position that were broken. You had Zeri, you have Sivir, you still have Sivir to a certain extent. Pairing those two with like Lulu or the Yuumi, I think Yuumi was just overshadowing everything that the bot lane wanted to do. And when you do have like a Yuumi and another ADC, I feel like yeah, you could go Seraphine mid to kind of like a similar double enchanter thing to when you were like putting stuff like Soraka mid and because I think it was Soraka mid, and then people would either go Sona or like Yumi bot lane, do all sorts of things there. But a lot of teams still want that damage threat from their mid lane, and with the champions that are like super broken there, like the Azir, like the Orianna. I'm trying to think of what else people are playing in mid lane besides those two. It feels like we see a lot of that. I want to say Cassiopeia, but I don't think that's necessary. Oh, LeBlanc. LeBlanc's a big one
Yeah.
that we see in pro play. So I mean, when those things are strong and you have so much damage there, when you play a different style where you don't have that damage available, it might be a little bit weird for teams to adjust. Of course, this isn't pro play. We haven't seen these teams play. So for that reason, I do think there is a pretty decent chance that we end up seeing them bring out that Seraphine.
Okay, yeah. Seraphine survives and will see some play. And we're still waiting on some players here. They said they are on their way. They're going to be a little late. We'll see how that will impact the draft as the situation develops. But the last thing, I'm trying to think of some jungle stuff. Oh, Poppy got hit.
Yes.
Poppy has been showing up quite a bit in play as a very specific counterpick to a lot of these junglers and top laners that have a lot of those huge mobility options. And have you been playing much Poppy in the jungle, Kongman? Or, I mean, you're a Shyvana player, so,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
am a Shyvana Sejuani Ivern player
Yeah.
in the jungle.
How have you seen Poppy? Have you played against much Poppy in the jungle?
I've played up against a little bit of Poppy. Unfortunately, I'll be honest, I am a low elo degenerate, so unfortunately, you don't get to see a lot of the higher up picks. You get to see the random things like like Heimerdinger jungle. You see those every now and then.
Oh,
But
yes.
honestly, like the Poppy jungle, it does exist. I do believe that the nerf coming through isn't going to be that detriment to Poppy because they are only nerfing 20 damage to jungle creatures on her Q, and that's really about it for the Poppy nerf. So I still feel like she's going to be like a valid jungle pick. I just don't think she's going to be like the best jungler to pick.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she does. Basically, the only really nerf that came through for her is her clears early on got hit pretty not that substantially. Like you said, she's still going to be definitely playable, especially as that niche option, and she's still going to be as good in the top lane as she's always been. But in the jungle, she will be a little bit slower on the clear, which will give some counterplay for champions who can outpace her. Um, and then try and just take over the game before she can run people down. I'm looking through
The
just thinking about some more of these patch
the
changes.
other jungler who got changed was Diana. She kind of had the same a
Hmm.
bit of the same nerf, which was her passive. So now her jungle clear is going to be just a little bit slower. Especially like in the later portions of the game, which isn't much of a problem. Because they even gave us the notes where at like level 6, she's going from 55 passive to 45, 11 is 120 to 95, and 16 is 210 to 170. But then in turn, they're also buffing her E with the AP scaling by 5%.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's definitely nice. Those buffs, the buffs to her E, they will help compensate a little bit of the damage she loses. But you know, honestly, I haven't been seeing much Diana anyways. I kind of don't know why she got hit, but hey, it is what it is. It looks like the players are all in lobby. Once we get the okay from them, we'll go ahead and send it over to the draft. Before we get into the game, we talked a bit about final thoughts before we get into this draft action. Are we going to see anything spicy? Are these players going to pull out something crazy for day one?
Shyvana.
Shyvana? We're hoping for Shyvana. Shogun?
Yasuo ADC.
Yasuo ADC. We'll see if either of these two teams can pull into the mix. But for the time being, draft has started, so I'll go ahead and throw it over to you two. Take it away for game one of the series.
Alrighty, thank you so much. As we are getting underway into the draft here, no bans have come through, luckily. As the Talia ban will be first. I'm pretty sure this champion's still strong in mid lane. Not really seeing it a lot in the jungle. I feel like it gets abused. Apparently, ROTM Still thinks Yumi is a problem, gets rid of it, doesn't want to have to deal with it, which, hey, I respect that. There's a chance that they didn't read patch notes, but I highly doubt that that's the case. So give them the benefit of the doubt there, as we will
I mean,
see the kite get taken away as well.
good players don't need to read patch notes. You can just adjust as you go.
True, absolutely. So we will see the second thing that gets banned away from ROTM on the red side. I imagine we'd see them take away some form of like priority jungle pick. I feel like that's pretty standard. That or something else from the bot lane, maybe an ADC. I don't think you need to keep hitting the support pool. You will anyway. You'll get rid of Lulu. Okay. I have seen first pick Lulu. Again, it doesn't seem like the strongest thing in the world. Maybe I'm wrong. I know pro play has been, a lot of enchanter bans have been coming through. I know enchanters are still pretty good. They did buff, Evan Shroud a little bit just to try to make the engaged supports feel a little bit more appealing. But I feel like if you want to make engaged supports appealing, you just make a locker broken, and then all of a sudden engaged supports feel 10 times better to play. from what I've seen, Evan Shroud, nobody seems to like, which is unfortunate because I think it's a pretty good item, or at least a well-designed item.
There is the Seraphine ban in the last slot, and I do want to point out that CEO did ban away the Nidalee, which is actually kind of a good ban because I'm looking at that is the wrong page. I'm looking at their jungler who has a 58% win rate on Nidalee. So definitely a good ban to hit there. And they do first pick Tristana, which one thing we did glance over in the patch notes is she did get buffed.
That is true. There was a buff. Now we'll see what ROTM decides to go ahead and pick up for themselves. The Graves. A lot of these picks seem reminiscent of what we saw more of last split. Haven't been really seeing these champions in pro play. That doesn't mean that these teams can't, pop off on those. I feel like Graves isn't in a terrible spot. They pick something that like made me sad, like Yorick. Then like there'd be another thing. I think Yorick is pretty meh. It's not that he's bad. It's just that there are like 5 champions that do exactly what he does, but better. As we will see, the Ari get locked in. That, of course, is another big one that we've been seeing in pro play. Has gotten nerfed, I think, not nerfed enough to really affect how well she's doing in competitive play. So I imagine it'll be. I can't think of what is the answer to Ari right now. I think it's still Lysandra, or maybe you just play a different control mage. As we will see Trundle get locked in here. Don't lock in both of those. That seems like the type of thing Trundle is the king of. It's just a tad bit. I do like Vi. I actually think Vi's in a really good spot right now in the jungle. It's kind of insane how good she is. But the Morgana getting locked in as an answer, in the bot lane will be fine. I think taking Trundle in the jungle is way better than blinding him top lane. So really glad that that's what they did. Aatrox's going to go ahead and get locked in and probably going to ban away some counter picks to that.
Yep, as we are going to go into the second round of banning, I do want to point out, like, Morgana is usually played in the support, but she has seen play in the mid lane and a little bit in the jungle, not as much as she used to. What was that, like 1.5 seasons ago, whenever Morgana just decimated the jungle meta?
Oh, yeah. It was
bring back Morgana jungle.
Bring back Brand jungle. That was fun. No. Bring back Runic Echoes Ezreal jungle. That was fire. That was fire. Actually, I don't even remember if he. I think there was a time where he went jungle. I think he just went mid with Smite though, so you could build Runic Echoes. I think that's what he did. That was like the most broken Ezreal I think I've ever seen in my life. That was fun. That was a good Ezreal. We'll see some more getting I do remember a time where Ezreal did go jungle, but I don't think it was the Runic Echoes meta. I think it was a different meta where he went jungle. Or maybe I'm wrong. There were like 2 different times where you would take Ezreal Smite. One was where he went mid, and the other one was where he actually like jungled. Wild times. As we will see. the Noxian brothers get banned away by different teams. Silas as well from ROTM getting banned away as CEO. Gonna go ahead and ban away whoever's this last one. I imagine it'll be another ADC, another aggressive one, maybe a support as well. Ash gonna be the one to go. Ash, don't really think she needed to go. The only reason I might want Ash gone, even while having a Morgana on my team, is that a good Ash support or ADC. Probably gonna play her support though. Will be able to affect mid lane really well with those arrows. I've seen it happen to people that I've played with, and it is possibly the most tilting thing to have to deal with. Because if you don't take cleanse, you will die if you get hit by one of those arrows, and
Yeah.
it's not a joke.
Yeah, I've lost track of how many times I've been trying to solo dragon, and all of a sudden I get hit by an arrow, and then the enemy team just appears, and I'm like, "Welp, this is where I die."
Yeah, it is not a fun time, as we will see. It is Caitlyn Morgana. I'm surprised they didn't make that read because Tristana Morgana is a bit of a weird lane in and of itself. So the fact that the flex is open, maybe go ahead and get rid of what Morgana plays really well with, which is a Caitlyn. I would have understood it. Now, getting rid of Silas, though, is a scary thing. You don't have a lot of great ultimates, which is why I'm kind of scratching my head at that one. The only thing that he can really take away from you is Ari ult that you'd be super worried about. And then the other team locks in Mordekaiser as well to deal with the Aatrox, which I like that. All you're really looking for right now, Rodham, is to lock in your last pick support. Not a lot is great into the Morgana. That's also good with Samira, so it makes you wonder what they're thinking of doing. I would like a Leona, but Morgana makes that really hard to play with. It might be your best option in this scenario, though, but you're going to go ahead and lock in a Mumu. It's going to be kind of that same effect where Morgana's still going to be able to shield one person, but with the Amumu, you're able to at least get a stun off on one more person if they're in range.
Yeah, so definitely taking a look at these team compositions. I do want to point out that CEO does have a few flex picks. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is going to be Morgana in the support role. Honestly, like Caitlyn Tristana is a bit of a flexible swap back and forth, although Tristana will probably be the mid lane option. Because Caitlyn into Ari is a bit of a rough matchup for the Caitlyn. And then you look at Trundle and Mordekaiser, both of them are valid picks. Of who on CEO really wants to go up against this Aatrox on the top lane.
Yeah, and I imagine that's why they just went ahead and picked Mordekaiser. I don't think Trundle has a great time in Aatrox. I think he has a very okay one. So I think we're gonna see the pretty logical things that happen here, which is just gonna be Mordekaiser, Trundle, Caitlyn, Morgana. If we see something else, it'd be a little bit weird. But either way, I'm excited to see what these two teams have to bring to the table as we are waiting for someone to start the game. I believe we're waiting for another side to say ready. As never mind, I think the lobby crashed before we could get into champ select, which is pretty hype.
I believe so. So let's all
on,
try an attempt to rejoin the lobby.
I'm
Everyone is
hoping
already. Yeah, everyone is already rejoining at instant speed.
Man, I was. It's funny because we were talking about this before, even stream started. Production joined the lobby early, and I was like, this lobby is definitely going to close by the time we start the game, unless Riot fixed it. And probably 5 seconds before we were going to hit start game, based on what we were seeing in the chat, the lobby crashes. So no, Riot didn't fix it. That answers that, I guess. Which is But anyway, everyone's getting back in the lobby. It's fine. It'll be a-okay. Just waiting for the last person to go ahead and join their team. Go ahead but while they're figuring that out, we can go ahead and talk a little bit more about these team compositions, who has the edge and where. I do think CEO, based on lane matchups, I think they probably won the draft here the Mordekaiser does back beat Tristana when are at the first couple of levels. Once Ari gets her charm though, it's a little bit more tough. However, if Tristana dodges the Ari charm once, I think Tristana just absolutely runs over Ari to the point where I think she actually has more kill pressure in those levels once both sides hit 6. Ari able to, kind of escape those all-ins from the Tristana just a bit more. But other than that, I do think Tristana does have that edge in the matchup, with the caveat that it is a slight skill matchup because Tristana has to dodge those charms. Meanwhile, the bot lane, skipping down a little bit, Morgana and Caitlyn, one of the best synergies in bot lane. And the fact that Caitlyn heavily outranges Samira, yes, you have the Amumu who has a long distance engage, but without like solid follow up from Samira, it really, I think this is a lane that actually has to like kind of chill out until 6, unless they manage to get a crazy good push, or Caitlyn just decides to not ever shoot Samira and just decides to go for minions. Then maybe it's playable for Samira and Amumu, but we'll have to see how that one plays out. And I guess you can go ahead and take how you think the jungle matchup can go with the Trundle into this Graves.
Yep, it is going to be interesting as we do see that it is going to be Mordekaiser going top lane, and
Yep.
we should be seeing. Yep, there's the Trundle being locked in, so we do know who is the top and jungler for CEO, and it is going to be Tristana mid. So now we officially know where everyone is going.
Yeah, for sure. I do think still that Mordekaiser, it makes sense that he goes into the Aatrox. I think he actually has the power to 1v1 him with his level 6. I do want to say it's another skill matchup if Mordekaiser can, dodge away from at least like one or two of the I don't know what like the sweet spots of the Aatrox queue. If you can dodge away from those or like sidestep them, it's really good for you. Even like especially if you can sidestep the Umbral chains from Aatrox, I think you're in such a good spot. I think it allows your 1v1 to go a lot better. It gives you more power in that 1v1 as well. Uh, Meanwhile, on the Aatrox side, it really does rely on being able to hit everything that you have, which against Mordekaiser is not the hardest thing in the world because he doesn't have any mobility. All he really has to protect himself is a shield and his own you know, his own movement. So once again, I think the solo lanes are going to come down to who is better in just a micro sense, not even necessarily better at their specific champions. Meanwhile, bot lane, I do think is pretty heavily favored towards CEO.
Yeah, I definitely kind of have to agree with you there. Just definitely looking at the bot lane, it does seem pretty even. But unfortunately, I do believe that Morgana's shield is just gonna definitely decide. Like, okay, if Vayne can, sorry, in Vayne, the Morgana player can correctly place the shields on their targets, then I do believe this will be an easy game for them. But it
Yeah.
is also going to be a mind game matter of the opposing team, seeing if they can bait out those shields.
Yeah, for sure. And something that I'm excited to see as well is like what side these junglers end up playing for. I do think this is a game where Graves, who doesn't have a lot of good jungle or like gank setup for himself, his bot lane does have. I feel like actually all of his lanes have pretty decent gank setup, right? And so seeing where he wants to go, he could honestly play for any lane. I do think it is the smartest idea to get his top laner fed, as you're saying, or as you said in the pregame. Actually, yeah, as you said in the pregame, the Mordekaiser, very strong player at D4. If you can get your Aatrox ahead and allow him to, kind of stomp the game, I think that would be super helpful. Not only, winning this game, but also give that kind of confidence boost to your top laner and be able to, have some momentum going into the next game.
Yep, that is going to be something to think about for the next game. But before we look into the next game, we are going to be taking a short break as we get ready for this game. So make sure you all do not go anywhere. You don't want to miss this amazing week 1 matchup. And we'll be right back in just a few moments.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the first series of the summer, winter, fall, summer, fall split.
It is fall, guys.
We're at the tail end of the summer. Technically, August is summer. I want you to know that. But it is the beginning of fall, the beginning of the fall split first series between Contingent Esports Orange on the blue side and ROTM Darkwind on the red side. Very excited to see what these two teams have in store for us in this lovely beginning of summer, beginning of fall, end of summer. There it is.
You'll get it right one of these times you say
One day. You know what? I decided it's spring.
it is spring. Yes, that is correct.
The hedgehog actually didn't see a shadow. He actually saw another hedgehog or groundhog.
Yeah, groundhog.
Let me tell you.
Yep. Your play-by-play tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going great.
All right, and one thing I do want to point out is that the red side does not have heal on their team for the bot lane. They instead opted for the cleanse, so this will be interesting to see just how aggressive CEO wants to get.
So usually I save my hot takes for later in the split, but I'm just saying if you take cleanse against a Morgana, you're a beta. That's just facts. That's just facts on God. Realistically, it's funny to me because I think that the Caitlyn should have cleanse and the Samira should have not cleanse. Samira, I can kind of be okay with having cleanse because the idea is that you want it for when you go in, the Morgana can hit you point blank, or you can hit with her ultimate, so you can just constellation it real quick. I get all that, that's fine. Or you can kill her so fast that you don't need it, and then that's also pretty hype. So that's a little bit harder to pull off, I will say. I think cleanse is okay, but it does make me feel like you either don't think you can dodge the Q or, block the Q with your really cool ability that blocks the Q. So, we'll see. We'll see how this goes between them, but you also don't want, you want to make sure you don't get trapped by Caitlyn either, right? So, I can kind of respect it, but I don't have a lot of respect for it.
Yep, and I do want to point out that Ponyboy is attempting to invade and steal this blue buff. Will he be successful? It's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, it does have the Chad bot lane coming up, and they don't get the kill, but they do get the blue buff so far. They're going in, flash over the walls. Now, that's going to be a very low Samira. A lot of damage coming through. Tristana being here as well. Going to hop on in. Let's flash out of the Ahri. The Ahri will go down, gets chopped up by the Trundle. That is an easy 2-0. That is an LCS level play right there. I love it when the enemy jungler cannot play the game. So fun.
Yep, as a jungle player, I do have to agree that it is pretty nice whenever the jungler can't play, especially whenever it's the opposing jungler.
Oh, Blaze goes over the wall! What in the world is this? He can actually die here, but they don't feel like they have the confidence to go in. The Ahri being here does make it a little bit harder. Charm is going to land, but it lands right on a spell shield. Remember, no flash on this. Ahri gonna get jumped on, chomped down, and that will be the Graves with the E back up, but that's gonna be 2 flashes forward. Neither one, or maybe just one. But now Amumu wants to get in there with the Samira, the bot lane coming up. That will be a Q hitting right on top of the Samira. The jump in will go down, and that's going to be a 6-0 start for CEO. A 4K gold lead 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, definitely have to say this is definitely a very strong showing from the side of CEO. And meanwhile, we look at top side, and they just chilling.
Yeah, the top side is like, whoa, what's going on over there? You want to chill? And they're both like, yeah, let's chill. Our junglers clearly don't care about us for the rest of the game. Now, I will say, if I have Graves, I'm like, okay, new plan. We're not touching bot lane with a 10-foot pole because we should never kill them anymore. They should be playing safe enough where they can't get abused and get caught out. And so your only real win condition now is your top lane. Your bot lane is a disaster all of a sudden, which isn't your fault as a jungler in this scenario, because a lot of the things that just happened are out of your hands. More of like a macro team decision to kind of go for that defense on your buff, which if you're not practiced against that kind of invade, a team like apparently CEO that knows what's going on and knows how to pull that off is going to absolutely run you down. And I love that they're able to, bring that level of play into this game.
Yep, definitely have to agree with you there. And I am receiving messages from a bunch of my friends informing me that TSM has beaten FlyQuest in playoffs. So for those of you who are FlyQuest fans, sucks to be you.
Yeah, I received a message from the stream on my other monitor as well that TSM just won, as now we're going to see them go in on the bot side. They don't want to let this go at all. And it's going to work out well for them. Going to give the shutdown gold right over to Samira, and all of a sudden, not necessarily back in the game, but, taking a step to being allowed to play the game once again, as that will be exactly what ROTM need to try to, take control of this game once more.
Yep. And first dragon is going to be Cloud Drake, which is currently up and active. Doesn't appear that any jungler is really actively looking for it at the moment. I mean, we do see that the Fiddle 6 team did have to back, so unfortunately they do not have Prio, so this would be a good time for CEO to walk up and take a free dragon.
I would agree, as now we're going to see that pull not quite hit there, as maybe the Aatrox will walk up and get abused, but it does not look like that would be the case for the time being, as now Ari wants to go ahead, try to find something, not going to find too much. As the more this top lane kind of stalls out, actually that's not true, the Aatrox does seem to be winning it a decent little bit here, has a almost 20 CS lead. Looking to increase that as well here, but Mordekaiser should be able to collect at least most of this wave, maybe even all of it if he's solid enough, as that's going to be a lot of damage coming through. There is a dive angle, I will say. I think it's manageable, but he has to have a lot of confidence to pull something like that off.
Yeah, you have to make sure you bait out certain Mordekaiser cooldowns. If his E is on cooldown, that'd be a good time to go in so he can't displace you, which I do believe the Mordekaiser realizes this, so he's doing a good job to not just burn it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do see a little bit of emoting. Love to see the players having fun, even in a bit of a dire state such as this one. As Graves looking to path on up towards this top side of the map, wants to try to get something done. Or maybe doesn't think that there's a gank that can happen, and instead just gonna keep clearing, says no more ganks. They make me sad, I just want to farm. Try not to let the enemy team get too much prio, guys. Smile. As he goes ahead and goes right back on towards his bot side camps right there.
Yep, and we do see the Tristana, despite being up 2-0 against this Ahri, only having a 2 CS lead. And we do see the pings coming onto the map, so it does appear that CEO is looking to potentially take a Rift Herald.
Should be a pretty easy one for them to take, especially if they know where the Graves is. The tracking would put him in bot lane right now because, Trundle obviously sees that his bot camps are up. They will go ahead and take that Rift Herald very easily. Gonna bring it up towards the top side of the map, start getting even more money into this Mordekaiser. And if every single lane has a gold advantage, that would not be ideal if you are the side of ROTM, having to play down from every single lane, especially into champions that probably scale a little bit better than you. I'd say the Caitlyn doesn't scale incredibly well, but does at the pace that they're going will out snowball the Samira if Samira can't find just a few more kills here. But we'll see if that ends up being the case. They are setting something up on the bot side of the map. Graves is waiting for his time to go in. There is an angle, a missed Q. Does swing wide there. Graves doesn't want to waste too much more time with Trundle coming in for a gank as well. Well, that's going to be a Moo. Missing that. The Q, the Dark Binding will swing wide, but they go right back in on Morgana, but Morgana goes, hey, look, I got my jungler here, and a stopwatch. Graves is going to be in some trouble. Will flash away finally, as now Trundle wants to try to get through everybody. Will get very low, but doesn't go down for so long. That's going to be a shutdown coming out from the Samira. Samira will not quite get the last kill. Instead, a double kill comes through for the Caitlyn. Yes, they get the shutdown onto the Trundle, but that will be 3 more kills being funneled in to the side of CEO.
Yeah, I definitely want to say that CEO is doing a very good job playing this extremely passively. And I'm looking at the scoreboard. Apparently I can't do math or something, but where did the second kill of Fiddle Middlesticks go to?
I want to say either both of them went to the or 2 of them went to the Caitlyn. I think one of them went to the Trundle in that bot lane skirmish. I think is
There
what
is a pause.
Just a tiny one, as it will be resuming shortly based on the chat. I think maybe we do have to wait a little bit longer. Either way, does seem to be a bit of a winning position from the size of a CEO. Looking pretty good right now. Oh, wait. What are you talking about with the 2 kills, by the way?
Well, it might just be on my end, but if you look at the scoreboard, it says 9-2.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
But then I look at the scoreboard at the bottom, and I only see 1 kill on the side of Middlesticks.
There's 2 on Samara. Just a little bit of a bug. If you just real quick, there is a bit of a problem for Amumu. He does have flash. This is not ideal. This is as there will be the flash as they managed to get a lot of damage down, but now the Q back in from Amumu. He was out and he decides to die. Trundle will go down. Amumu's going to be the one who picks that one up. Still pretty worth for them all.
We are going to take a quick second to resync with everyone.
We are resyncing. I'll go ahead and just make sure that we are on the same time. 12:01, 12:02, 12:03. Yep. Production wants to go ahead and let me know. We are at 12:10, 12:11, 12:12.
I am. Yeah.
We seem to be okay now.
I am 1 second behind, but you know, as a color commentator, I'm not the board.
Yeah, we do see a fight.
And we do see a fight breaking out while we attempt for the racing. Samira is going to be taking down the Morgana. Caitlyn, unfortunately, does miss onto Looker. Very unfortunate there, as Graves does pick up the kill on the Caitlyn. Nice little bounty going over to him.
We want to go ahead and take a short break to go ahead and get synced up. I think that would be easiest for everybody. Going to go ahead and do that now. So
we are going to be taking a short break, and we will be back momentarily.
Alrighty, everybody, sorry about those technical issues. Just had to get that sorted out real quick. As we do come right back to CEO taking away this dragon uncontested. Nothing they can really do about this one. Amumu will go ahead and get that recall off with Samira. Gonna have to lane alone for the time being, as not having a good time CSing as well this game. Hasn't really been allowed to walk up to the wave, and that's that range advantage that we were talking about from Caitlyn, who almost has about a 30 CS lead. Will be cut down to somewhere more like 20 with, again, assuming that she's able to get every single minion here, which that one will be swinging wide. There, so more like something like 25, I'd have to guess here, will be the lead. Is now Caitlyn gonna go ahead and keep shoving these waves in. Does get Kraken Slayer for that extra damage onto the Amumu, who will start getting tankier. Maybe not quite tanky enough to really survive for a good bit. That's going to be a good bit of damage onto a Mumu who was rooted for about 10 years. As the tower gonna go down, gonna get very low. Not quite go down, but shortly.
Yep, tower had to be at about probably under 50 HP, so one little auto attack should be able to take care of that. I do see bot tower going down very shortly.
Absolutely, that Q was swinging wide though. As here comes the last auto to take down the tower. There it is. As Trundle wants to try to make something happen around the bot side of the map, but with Ahri coming in, this could be a solid little play for the side of ROTM. But other than that, doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It's now a nice Q. Oh my goodness, the Morgana steals away the Grump. What a play from the support of CEO. As they're going to go ahead and take their recall in stride after that.
Yep, CEO doing a really good job to just walk out of that fight. They did get the vision on the Ahri scene that she was walking down, and unfortunately Tristana was still walking down mid lane trying to get back into position. So definitely a good job CEO realizing they didn't have their mid laner and opted to not take the fight.
It looks like they want to try to make a play onto this Tristana. Tristana has no vision, does get blinded up a little bit, but immediately W's out, respecting the fact that if she gets hit with a charm, she's pretty dead. So, kind of like what you see there. Meanwhile, on the top side, we see the CS lead slowly starting to go in the favor of the Aatrox. Not a lot of action up here. No kills coming through for either one of these top laners. All of a sudden, Graves in a very bad spot. Has flash, will flash over the wall, but it's so late. He's gonna go down anyway. Might as well just died if he was gonna stay in that pit for so dang long. As now the Morgana trying to find that Q. Will not quite land. The bandage toss was thrown out by a Mumu. Good thing it didn't hit. He was probably dead if he did in fact hit it. That will be the Rift Herald secured by CEO. They're probably going to drop it mid, you'd have to guess.
Yeah, we do see them all huddling up in mid at the moment, so we should be seeing that Herald come down in just a moment. I do believe they're going to take tower and then drop it.
I respect that
There
decision. I can even take more. I think they could just brute force their way into taking this next tower. Maybe even getting another crash after that. That's going to be a Mumu. Going to be very low. Going to get hit by everything under the sun. Solo gets chopped down by Trundle. Trundle's going to take down the support of ROTM. Now, damage going to come through. A lot of it. In fact, here goes Samira with that Blossom. Will not quite be enough. Gets taken down. So much damage from this Caitlyn. That's going to be the ace in the hole coming through as well. Just on jumping in, flashing forward. Gonna jump right out as well. Gets the kill onto the enemy jungler. As Caitlyn walks up, will miss the net. Unfortunate, as Ahri will go ahead and just run on out of there. Still, so many plays going well for the side of CEO. It seems like they can do no wrong, and when you're up this much gold, it's pretty hard to do wrong.
Yeah, I definitely want to say that it had to be a very good play there from Jed on the side of CEO, holding his ultimate, knowing that if Samira ults, the team is going to die, but luckily using it to just say, hey Samira, you're over there using your ult now, and now you do nothing.
Absolutely, as we will see each member go ahead and back on out of here. Maybe even go for a dragon. That'll be up in a long time, actually, now that I'm looking at it. I actually don't have dragon timers. I'm not sure how long it's going to be.
It is 30 seconds.
That's not what I wanted. Thank you so much. Yeah, so gonna be up soon. Maybe they can contest this one. I wouldn't. I think it would be a good time to try to get at least a little bit more money in your pockets. I mean, to give you an idea of how this game is going, Ahri was forced to get Leandries and not Ludens, which I feels kind of bad, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that's what you want to be building on the Ahri, so definitely want to be looking for a lot more burst. As they are taking a very aggressive stance, that E will swing wide from the Mordekaiser, and now that they've kind of fought past that choke point, maybe it can be a little bit easier of walking in. That's going to be a nice dark binding. That Morgana has landed. Dragon has been started, is going to be very low, gonna get smited away right there, maybe not even smited, nope, it was. As easy peasy lemon squeezy for the side of CEO Contingent Esports Orange, having a phenomenal game number one here. As will they be able to do anything else? Probably not. As here goes the Graves. Never mind, I'm gonna eat my words, as Graves is going to die here, probably very low. That's going to be the red buff that at least gets stealing away. Now, the Amumu tries to go in, buys his team enough time, but dies in the process. That's going to be a lot of damage falling onto his Mordekaiser. Going to heal it all back up. There it is. And even though the Aatrox is playing pretty well this game, has that 40 CS lead, it's just not amounting to enough. He's absolutely diffing this lane, but the rest of his team got a little diffed themselves. So what can he do? Gonna try to fight, but that Dark Binding isn't going to snipe him. Gonna get pretty low, has to flash away. The pillar comes through, but he will live. The Grave's gonna start walking out onto the map as well with the Amumu. Not gonna be able to do too much though.
Yeah, I definitely want to say CEO is doing a really good job picking these fights and holding these angles, which is, I feel like a Valorant caster whenever I say all those terms.
Yeah, very Valorant-esque. If only we got the chance to cast some lovely Valorant, but I don't think that'll ever happen. Haha.
Haha.
That'd be so funny and weird. Hehe. As we will see the Creators go ahead and start taking away the enemy's jungle, which is interesting, being able to counter jungle, but this late in the game it doesn't matter nearly as much. We'll go ahead and get that ward. They know exactly where he is. The red buff was still up, so they'll be able to take that one very easily. As now the Tristana says, "Hey Morgana, this is my wave." Bad.
Yeah, never let your supports take your waves. Who do they think they are?
And I have to agree with that. The support lives to serve the team, and they don't need money to do that. Me ADC, me money, me need money. Give me money. As we'll see how exactly CEO probably want to close this game out, because I mean, even if the game is still losable, right? But the ball is most certainly in their court. They dictate this pace of the game. If they want it to be slow, they can let it be slow and try to outscale. I don't think that's the smartest idea. I think you're in such a dominant position that you want to try to push the tempo at least a little bit, siege something, send your solo laners to split push. They are going for that 1-3-1, which I do think is a little bit dangerous when you only have that one TP. Tristana being a lot of this team's damage, not being allowed to be in the fight is a little scary, but I mean, if you have the Trundle and the Caitlyn and decent peel for the Caitlyn, I think it's okay. I think it'll be fine, but in a straight up 5v5 at least, I don't see a world where CEO can lose the fight.
Yep, and I do want to point out that this little bush right next to the river on top right side where you see that control ward, I have watched the vision control over that bush change 3 times in the past, like, 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, so we'll see. Alright, go ahead and clear this wave. Has a TP available. We do see the rest of ROTM walking up to the Baron. Baron's already so low, though, because now the Grave's going to go in with the flash, but doesn't get it. A 3-man stun. It's going to be a very late, I don't know exactly what that was. QSS from the Tristana. There it is. That's going to be the Amumu going down. They find one, though. They find that Morgana, but they're just absolutely rinsing everybody else. So much lifesteal coming through, but the pedal, the kiting is just too much. The Ahri is running for the hills. The charm will land, but that's going to be 1 HP. Gets whipped right there with the mace. That's going to be an ace coming through for the side of CEO. 21-6. It was a 5-for-1 trade, and they get the Baron. CEO wants to end this game right now, running right down mid lane to do so. Amumu is up, but how much can a support do against this entire team?
Yeah, unfortunately, if it's a Mumu support without his ult, there's not really a whole lot he can do, and unfortunately the respawn timers are starting to tick down for middle stick, so CEO is just going to have to back and go, hey guys, we got soul point up in 23 seconds, let's go ahead and play for that and end the game that way.
Yeah, I do respect that. I think it was possible to go ahead and end the game through mid lane. I think this is smarter. I think this is safer. There's a world where you just don't do enough damage if you're not confident in the damage. I'm almost certain that they did have it, though, because you do have that Tristana. And I don't... if you look at when Amumu came up and then when the rest of ROTM was up, it wasn't very close. I think you had, 20 seconds before the last member was going to be up, which is, a pretty insane amount of time to still have, a 5v4 at worst for you, so... maybe a missed opportunity, but now having that Infernal Assault, as you said, does make the game still, still in their favor, still very winnable, still relatively unlosable as well. We're being a little bit honest here. They're just marching right down top lane, or bot lane, sorry.
Yep, it does look like this is going to be a free tower for CEO, probably a free inhibitor if they really want to push for this, which I do believe they are going to be taking this inhibitor. No, they're actually going to be backing out a little bit because all 5 members of Middle Sticks are here in the bot lane.
Yeah, they don't want to fight without their wave, specifically. They want to go ahead and just siege this inhibitor as well. Yes, they're basically just begging Amumu to go in. There it is. He doesn't have the flash, so he's going to get rooted up, and it's not going to do much. He ults nothing. That's still going to be a very low Morgana. Morgana going to go down here. Ari just decides to int for the kill on the support. The support just barely dies. A triple kill for the Tristana. Graves is the last member of his team alive. The teleport came through from the Mordekaiser earlier on in this little skirmish here. Now Mordekaiser should be able to kill the Graves. Graves doing what he can, the 1v1. Ace in the Hole's going to come through. So much damage onto that Graves as Graves is going to go down. And a dominating game number 150 for Contingent Esports on Orange.
Yep, I guess you could say that Contingent Esports, or CEO, is the CEO of this tournament at the moment with a 26-7 victory. Absolutely just decimating the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you can't really ask more from a game number 1 from this squad. I think realistically, the play that wins them the game is that invade onto the blue buff. You could go a little bit further and say that when they went 6-0 is when like the game was kind of like, you look at that on paper and you're like, all right, this game should be unlosable from here on out. That being said, ROTM did show flashes of life, right? They were able to kill the Caitlyn. They were able to cash in on a lot of those shutdowns. It's just they gave up so much more money on top of that to get those shutdowns. It didn't even matter that they got like an extra 150 gold, because each time they cashed in a 150 gold bounty, they spent like 3 people dying to do it, and at that point you're not net gaining anymore. You're net losing on that play still. So yes, they found those kills, they were able to find something, but that just wasn't enough at all. So I'm excited to see how ROTM can, kind of come back in game number 2 if they adjust things, if they, maybe go into it respecting the power that the other team has, because it felt like that's just what they didn't do in that early game, at least in the bot lane. They just bled too much money in that bot lane, and if they could have just like evened it out, let it be, a pretty like evenly matched up map, I think the Aatrox actually had a much higher chance of being able to do a lot more good in this game, because he had some solid CS for a lot of that game. He, for the longest time was 0-0-0. Just was never going to really be able to kill that Mordekaiser without, doing a little bit of limit testing. I feel like he didn't really have that confidence going up against someone who on paper might be slightly better than him.
Yep, and before we do throw it over to a quick break, I want to ask you, what is Middle Sticks going to have to do to potentially turn this series around for them?
But I think definitely, either pick a lane and like play around it, which they did. They played around bot lane super heavily, but don't bleed as many resources when you do make those plays. If you are going to make those plays, if it is going to be a 3v2, like make sure it is a 3v2, because there are like really good counter ganks from the Trundle. Or switch it up, go ahead, get your top laner fed. I feel like, looking at it, Aatrox actually played this game pretty well. He had that 40 CS lead for the longest time. He was like maintaining that, right? So acknowledge that, hey, you actually have a win condition in that top lane. Do something with that. And I think that would have made it feel a lot less bad to play the rest of this game out. Of course, the easiest answer as well, don't give up 6 kills in the first 4 minutes of the game. Don't let there be a 4K. It was a 4K gold lead 4 minutes into the game. Don't do that. Don't let that happen. That's the easiest thing to do. I actually think it's pretty easy to, not let the enemy team to just walk into your jungle. Or, if they do have that prowess, maybe switch up your clear, right? Clear top to bot instead, so that the timing's a little bit off for the enemy jungler, so you're not in danger of that happening. And that's like that's how you stop that from happening, is acknowledge what lane is going to be strong. Is your bot lane that much worse off than the enemy's bot lane early on, that you can't protect the blue buff if they just decide to invade? Switch up your clear. I think that's how you can get around that.
Yep, it is definitely going to be interesting to see how Middle Six can turn this around and, and take it away from the CEOs. But we are going to be thrown into a short break, and we will be back in just a moment's time.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 2 of the series between Rise of the Middle Sticks Dark Wind and Contingent Esports Orange. Cannot forget their name after seeing what they did in game number 1. Oh my goodness, CEO popping off. And we already see some of that, fallout from game number 1 with the Tristana getting banned away by ROTM. Gonna go ahead and lock in that Seraphine, which they are prioritizing, as we expected from our pre-show talk.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting seeing Seraphine in this game. Really surprised that it wasn't immediately banned away, so I do believe this might be Middlestick's chance to take a win just because they have the abuse of Seraphine.
Yeah, having that Seraphine is going to be pretty difficult to deal with. But when you take away Senna, that's an interesting decision. I do like that. Making sure that there is no Seraphine Senna angle does make you wonder, though, what are they going to pair up with that Senna in the bot lane? Maybe going for something like that Swain, that Tom Kench is what people have been liking a lot with Senna. Tom Kench has fallen out of favor a little bit more. I still think it's pretty solid, but mainly you want to make sure that Senna is able to fast. I actually think something a bit of a pocket pick, something that I think is funny is not that. That's gross. That's gross.
That's
Nobody liked that. Nobody liked that.
I mean, I guess that is one way to take away another option for Seraphine to combo with, because we do know Seraphine's pretty good. Seraphine Soraka. Basically, the SS is pretty. I'm not going to finish that statement now that I'm saying that out loud.
I think what you should do is you should go ahead and just lock in another S champion and then lock in Xerath, so you have SSX. So that would be pretty fire. I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to go ahead and lock in Jarvan instead. Would prefer my idea. I think my idea is like way more hype to watch, but either way, I think Jarvan and Seraphine do combo pretty well together. Both their ults are pretty synergistic, as we will see what they go ahead and lock in for their third pick here. Do you have any ideas? You got 5 seconds to go ahead and guess what it is.
Shyvana.
Oh, it might be.
Top lane Shyvana. That is not
Oh,
Shyvana.
close. It is Jinx, which is weird because I swear to goodness gracious, if they put Seraphine support, I'm going to be sad. That's an instant Kindred pick, by the way. So, very squishy team so far, which I think
Yep.
is something important to take away, which Jarvan actually has a very solid time against squishy champions. Has a lot of bursts as well. There's going to be a lot of damage towards this mid to late game that they have with this Jinx. So, the good side for CEO is that Senna is going to outrange the Jinx, which not a lot of champions are able to do that. It's only like Senna, Caitlyn, I think Kog'Maw. Did I say Tristana? Tristana's one. Tristana's banned away, so not a lot of things anymore that outrange that Jinx. As we will see what they go ahead and decide to ban here. The Mordekaiser getting taken away. I don't think it was that big of an issue on its own. Just the fact that he can play it, not wanting to, have to blind into a Mordekaiser is helpful. Wait a second. Is this correct? Yes. Okay, my bad.
Yes.
For some reason, I kind of got switched up. I was thinking, I forgot that they swapped sides for like 2 seconds. So I thought I was like wrong about which team was playing Warcraft, but I'm right. As both top laners from last game are getting banned away, so it'll have to be something completely new. I am excited to see what those top laners end up being. Some ideas to float around, I think not Kale.
I think
Ooh, that's okay. Malphite actually got buffed. I think his passive got buffed or something weird like that. So he's even harder to like poke out on lane. Malphite funny. Malphite hype, and on top of that, I think Malphite would have been amazing for ROTM to have on their team. Taking that away is pretty useful for the side of CEO, because now it's like ROTM's like, I don't know what to play anymore. They went ahead and they banned away the Ornn. Gonna go ahead and lock in Victor. If they lock in Victor, I'm gonna be a little bit sad. So you completely wasted the Seraphine first pick, in my opinion, at this point. I think Seraphine support's pretty garbage compared to mid lane ADC.
Nah, don't worry, it'll be a Victor support.
I mean, yeah, that's better for sure. I think Seraphine's okay as support. I think her ultimate does combo well with the Jarvan enough to where you have some synergy there. I think picking something else would have been cool too. The Scion's gonna be locked in. I'm not a huge fan of this composition from ROTM, mainly because Scion has some anti-synergy with the Jarvan. Jarvan, goes in with his ultimate, and then Zion can't. Okay, what is?
I
Huh.
love everything about this.
That's got to be Ivern mid because there's no chance in hell.
No, that can
mid.
be an Ivern jungle.
No, I don't think it can be.
Listen. I have seen a lot of people being played Kindred ADC. So that means we're going to be seeing Soraka support, Soraka mid, Senna support, Kindred ADC, Ivern jungle. Like, Ivern is too good to not have in the jungle at the moment, especially since he was recently buffed.
So essentially, what you're saying is that I hate both compositions. I think you know what? If that's the case, Rodham's composition just skyrocketed into like the stratosphere as to how good it is. It's like so much better now, so much better, right?
Okay, hot take. I feel like there is such a diff between these two teams. CEO could not draft a jungler and they would still win.
Okay, that's not true because the top laner of Rodham was actually gapping CEO's top laner. The only reason that last game was as stompy as it was because the early game went so bad that they could not recover from it anymore. Because even when they made heads up plays, the other team did so much more damage that it didn't matter. Because they were able to find kills so much like more easily. I think that CEO with this team composition is a little bit more disrespectful, but I do think it is hype, and that's why I'm more okay with it. If it is Kindred anything but jungle, and if it's Ivern jungle instead, I am going to reevaluate their life decisions after this. We'll see. We will see. Someone's saying wait and see Kappa. I don't want to do that.
As we are going to be seeing CEO locking in
Oh
their jungler
god.
here in just a moment.
Yeah, I
See,
told you.
they have locked in the Kindred, but that doesn't mean they can't just swap it
They
after.
can't though. We've had many arguments and we've
They,
had pauses.
no, you see, they can as long as it's not before the 30-second choosing time.
See, that's what we say. The rules say you can't swap at all because
That is dumb.
no, it's not. Because okay, let me explain to you why it's why it's not dumb. It's because you've already done your draft beforehand. So the only reason you draft out of order at this point in client is to purposefully mess up someone else's runes. That's the only reason you could possibly have to do that, is to mess with the other team. So for that reason, I'm out. It's like for that reason, like just don't do it. And because people will make a stink about it, people will get mad at you, and everybody will be all grumpy because they can't get up to leave after the stream to go get Chinese food or something or whatever's open at like 10 p.m. at night. You know
Okay,
what I
I
mean?
feel attacked.
See, exactly. See, that's why we just don't want to prolong the game. Just don't be that. Just don't be that guy, right? Like nobody wants to be that guy. But
True.
it is Ivern mid, Soraka support. I don't.
Ivern mid.
Dude, Ivern mid funny. Ivern mid is this. Yes, yes. Ivern mid is awesome, dude. I can't like this. This will if Ivern mid wins, I can be happy being wrong completely about this 2-0 that's incoming. However, you look at Rom's team composition, you're like, all right, I see the synergy, the Victor W, the Seraphine ult, the Jarvan ult, the Scion ult, hopefully after Jarvan ult is brought down. Pretty hype stuff, pretty solid stuff. If you had swapped Scion and Malphite, I actually think that Rom's team comp rolls this game unequivocally. But because that's not the case, it is a little bit harder for me to see which team will go ahead and come out on top in this one. But based on draft, I still do think that Rodham take the edge. But if we take into the factor of how much more fun CEO's composition is, I think CEO definitely takes it.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, I do believe there's just enough of a team gap that CEO can just kind of draft whatever they feel like, and we'll still be able to win. But of course, this is the standard thing us casters have between each other. We have this nice little beef. We have the nice little discrepancy. Helps keep the casting desk nice and fresh. But it is going to be interesting to see who is going to be taking this match, as we are going to be sending it over to Game 2 between Middle Sticks and the CEOs. And don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 2 of the series between Rise of the Middle Sticks, Dark Wind on the blue side, and on the red side we have Contingent Esports Orange, who won game number 1. They're up 1-0 right now. Very excited to see how this game plays out. Maybe they go ahead and take this one in a quick sweep, or ROTM can go ahead and strike back, as they see exactly where the Contingent is. Want to go ahead and start walking in for some early game vision, but instead they just get poked right on out. Yeah, Pony Boy says no vision for you. Oh, never mind. There is vision in the red pit there, so they do get vision. I will say, it's not crazy useful though to avoid the red buff. You do know, like, you have to like think about it a little bit more. You like look at it right before it goes down, and you're like, okay, cool. The red buff was still up when that ward expired, so we know he's not there yet. So we know he probably did a full clear, and he didn't go like buff Krugs. So it does take a little bit more thinking, but you still get some pretty decent information out of it, right?
Yep, and we are going to be seeing the mid lane Ivern chilling on the bush like most Ivern mid laners do, because you do, as an Ivern player, you do get a little bit extra damage when you are in a bush. Nice little passive that Ivern has on his W.
And I forget if he's normally ranged, or if it's only in the bush that he's ranged.
He is always ranged.
Okay, well, that's the buff that happens, because I remember that's not always. You are not playing Fasting Senna with Soraka. That's actually like, that is some psychopath behavior right here, and he's doing it. He's CSing on par with Jinx. All right, that'll change. Now that they've hit level 2, that's a root right onto the Senna. Senna's getting very low. Not disrespect coming through. The flash onto the tower. Loker is going to find the kill and is going to get excited and run away. So much damage coming through from the Soraka. Let's go ahead and strike back. The ADC Soraka going off, but now you don't do more damage than Seraphine. You don't win this one. Yes, the heals are coming through, but look at all that damage. The barrier isn't enough. Oh, no, it is not. That's going to be a 2-4-1 for the side of ROTM in the bot lane.
Very unfortunate there. That was probably have to be the most hype we've seen this entire series so far, was the Soraka v Seraphine support fight.
As we might be having some problems with the scoreboard. I don't know if it's continuing. That is a little unlucky. I think what we can do is we can pause and play very quickly. But that is a little bit of a scary situation. I've never seen whatever the viewers might be seeing as well. So we might have to go to a break. Production will let me know if that's something that we need to do, but for the meanwhile, pretty slow stuff. And we have the Malphite going ahead, clearing out those minions. We'll be fine. Very excited to see how the rest of bot lane goes now with this Soraka. Oh, she missed a minion, unfortunate. But you know what? We're allowed to cut the Soraka slack because Soraka is a support and plays support and is playing Soraka. So we're not expecting anything crazy in the farming department there.
Definitely is pretty interesting, and we do notice that the Seraphine does have heal, the Jinx does have Ghost, so no cleanse this time around.
Yeah, not having the cleanse is better. I think you really don't need cleanse, especially this matchup. I think last matchup it was forgivable. Like, yes, I called the ADC a beta, which I stand by 100%. But it's like a forgivable type of, like, you're a beta, but I understand, right? If you took cleanse here, I'd be like, man, you really don't want to get exhausted by the non-existent exhaust. That's crazy, right? So fortunately, that was not the case. There was no cleanse to be taken. As hopefully the Sion can go ahead and try to find a similar lead to the last game. It's actually going to be a pretty decent time. I don't think the Malphite wins this matchup. Also, a big wave coming through for the Sion. Should be able to cash in on all this experience. That's going to be a lot of damage going down onto the Senna. Senna getting very low. A lot of damage coming back, but will not be able to find the kill. Lots of heals coming through from the Soraka as well, trying to keep this Senna nice and healthy, making sure that she does not have to back and live under their own tower. And with the double healing that they have, that'll be very easy to do. So much healing on this team, so much shields as well. You have the shield coming in from the Ivern. You're going to have the healing from both these two bot laners. Not going to be a fun time for ROTM to deal with.
Yep, and we do have Ocean Dragon up for the first drag. Unfortunately, both junglers are nowhere near the pit, but it does appear Jarvan is going to start marching his way over towards the pit, especially since this Jinx and Seraphine do have bot lane prio at the moment.
Seems we had a bit of a leave and come back, as now we are good to go again. So we will see that's a nice route on to that Victor. Which maybe, ooh, very low on the Seraphine, as that's going to be a little bit of lag. We're all lagging though. Everybody's lagging. It's okay. Haven't started back up again. Hopefully 57, 56, 59, 6 minutes. Okay, so we are good to go. Looks like everything is a-okay now. We have Ivern going ahead, continuing to do as much as he can right here to these minions, but does not have the same, pushing power that this Victor has. Now, meanwhile, in the top lane, there is a bit of a tough situation, but for who is it? Pretty Boy doesn't have 6, will not be able to live if this goes bad, but that will be the unstoppable force. Now, the passive going to come out from the Scion. That's going to be the damage coming through the flash over the wall. Here comes Malphite. Hey, Malphite, there's a Scion there still, but it doesn't matter because he will not do enough damage to find that kill. That's a 1-for-1 trade. No, 2-for-1. Scion did die. It's just that he respawned so quickly that didn't matter. That's going to be the Ivern going in onto the Victor. Ivern mid, winning the 1v1. Daisy looking for the kill. Just a little bit more damage. There it is. Oh my goodness, the outplay. The solo kill for Ivern mid. Actually, absolutely insane. By the way, that's going to be the ghost coming through. So just hit that pink one. We'll not be able to do too much more than that. As we'll just have to keep on trucking on, hitting these minions instead. As the Soraka should be just fine, but with Kindred coming in, this could be an angle. Getting very aggressive, they do hit the double route, or the route onto this Soraka, but here comes the Kindred. Very pushed up is this bot lane, as they're going to get exposed here. That's 1 kill. I'm going to go ahead and push for 1 more onto the Seraphine. Seraphine's going to get very low and is going to get out, but the Senna wants it. So much damage going to be taken by that right there, and that's going to be a very low Soraka. I don't think Jinx has ult quite yet. No, so close to having it 1 level away. So as a result of that, Soraka and Senna get to live. No
Malphite is pushing this wave into tower.
Yeah.
Right in the bot lane. Malphite is just appeared in bot lane.
Yeah, he does have TP though. So he just ran down. And is going to TP back right after this. You'd have to imagine. Oh, he doesn't get the plate though, which is actually, yeah, if you think about it, it's ideal because you get to give it to your bot lane instead. Which, oh, they're lane swapping, which is not something you see a lot anymore. This is pretty crazy, as they will go ahead and send the Soraka and Senna up towards the top lane. Gonna go ahead and prep this Rift Herald is their plan for now. But that does give them the go-ahead. They see, okay, Malphite's still here. He's been here for a while. He's not teleporting. This should be just a free dragon, which I actually like this a lot. This is what you imagine would have happened in that one episode of Players, where they lane swapped, and you're like, that wouldn't work. That's not real.
Unfortunately, we don't want to disclose too much information about which game that was, because I will say this, it was near the end of the season, and we don't want to give away any spoilers.
Nah, you should have seen Players by now. Fake fans, if you haven't. Honestly,
True.
Fake League fans, as we will see. The Rift Herald getting taken, not getting taken very fast. Here comes Scion to try to stop it. We'll get silenced up, we'll get rooted up, but that's a line damage down onto the Senna. Senna getting very low. That's going to be ultimate coming out. The Cataclysm from Jarvan. That's going to be a very low Kindred with the ultimate. Will not be able to save her. That's going to be Senna getting knocked up in the air, getting taken down by Heimer Doodles. As now they'll go ahead and walk right back on towards that Rift Herald. That lane swap was a decent idea, but they didn't pull the trigger fast enough. They should have been hitting the Rift Herald while the Dragon was getting taken, and instead, what ends up happening is they don't get an objective for that, but they will get some bot lane plates at best. And, ROTM actually showing a lot of signs of life in game number 2.
Yeah, I definitely want to say Middle Sticks is definitely looking a lot cleaner this game, especially now that the Jinx has just gotten 2 free plates, and Soraka just kind of has to stand there and go, yeah, okay, I guess you can have that.
Yeah, unlucky, as we will see the Malphite go ahead, hit up all those towers there, as now they will send them on to... Oh, wait, just a second, as we do see the Victor doing what he can here to clear this wave, as now Malphite wants to fight against Sion, but Sion says, yeah, I really don't care about anything that you're about, my friend. Here, I'll start hitting you back a little bit, but again, don't really care, as now top lane gonna get seized a little bit more. That's going to be the Seraphine ult swinging wide. A nice little field goal there for her, but they're gonna go ahead and drop that Rift Herald. Maybe saving it for the Rift Herald drop would have been a better play, but they should still be able to get the tower, or at least all of those plates real quick. The tower will fall after very low. Jinx is gonna get excited here. It's just gonna start running at them, and as a result, Soraka and Senna have to get on out of there.
Yep, Kindred is currently just kind of enjoying her time down in the red side of Blue's jungle. Is able to get a nice little passive. A bit of a questionable ult from Senna.
What? I think the idea was to slow. I don't know if it slows. Does it slow? Can anyone confirm if that no?
It does not. It is just a nice little boost of damage.
I didn't think so. So that's pretty weird. That's like, I would question mark ping that probably. I would be like, why'd you ult? And then he'd just be like, I wanted to teach him a lesson. And yeah, I'd go like, oh, okay.
Oh, it's a zoning ult.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I don't know if it saved the ward. I don't know if there was a ping board there. There's a regular board there. That might be new. So, you know, either way, it's whatever. They will live. As long as they don't need that ult in the next, what, like 45 seconds, 30 seconds? It's almost halfway, so like, oh, like a minute?
Yeah.
Like the next minute? Which is a long time. I didn't realize, it's like a 2-minute, 20-second ult. That's insane. And then Lux gets a 40-second, and Ashe is like 20 if you like realistically could be like 0 if you get Axiom Arc. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty nice seeing how some characters in League have like 0-second cooldowns on ults, and then you got others, like Senna, that's like, give me like 2.5 minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we will see. Jarvan going ahead, clearing out that ward. Might see the Kindred getting engaged upon here. Or, sorry, not really going to be something that happens because it's Victor that's there. Was a teleport, though, from Ivern, who says no more sieging mid lane. We'll go ahead and continue staying here, which I do think you want to start moving your bot lane up to the mid lane. Send your Ivern down towards bot lane instead. But they don't really subscribe to that theory.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't subscribe to that theory either, but oh, it does appear there is going to be a fight happening here in the mid lane. Daisy does go down.
Oh my god, look at all that damage! Where did Senna go? The ultimate from the Jarvan into the ultimate. I actually, sorry, it was the flag and drag that happened first from Jarvan. Then the encore from Seraphine, then the Cataclysm on top of that. Yeah, there's no way you live. That's a pretty dunzo situation. And it does seem like Senna is the target of a lot of these plays. It's only been her and Kindred dying in all of these fights, so gotta be a little bit cleaner than that, especially when you are playing something like Senna that doesn't have like a lot of escapes. You cannot be walking in positions like that. It's just too dangerous.
Yep, definitely is something dangerous you have to look out for, and we are going to be playing for a Mountain Soul this game, as opposed to the Inferno Soul last game. It is always nice to have different souls, unlike Grand Finals last season, where it was, what, 3 Infernos in a row?
Yeah, but Infernal is fun, and Mountain is kind of boring.
I feel like it really depends on your team composition.
I guess if you had a Kiana would be pretty hype.
Yes. Unfortunately, Kiana jungle is not seen as much anymore as we used to see a lot.
Kiana mid, of course, being her home. That was interesting.
Now we're going to be seeing Ivern Scion in the bot lane. Once again, another lane swap.
Yeah, I think this is fairly okay. A nice dodge from the center to make sure she doesn't get caught out yet again. Yes. We will see what exactly they can do about this one in the bot lane. Maybe punish this this Ivern, but that will not be the case. Instead, the Jarvan just goes ahead and takes away that Scuttle Crab. Maybe something can be done about this situation in mid lane now, getting that tower. But it does seem to be the case of just trying to get the Jinx fed through, some those previous plates. Now starting to get those towers would be ideal. Maybe waiting until she's a little bit stronger, but you don't want to wait too long because Senna also scales incredibly well, right?
Yep, it is definitely one of those things you have to try and keep an eye out for. And we do see Ponyboy on the Kindred floating this bot side, trying to give Ivern a little bit of extra protection if he needs it, but currently unaware of where the Jarvan is at the moment.
Yeah, as we will see what they can do. That could have been a route that went down onto Seraphine, but it's not quite there. We'll go ahead and sweep away that ward. So now they want to try to collapse on this. It's just not really doable. Sion coming in from the flank, though, as that could be interesting with that ultimate. I would actually really like to see them go with that play, but they do see Malphite backing off, has that CP available, which means fights are just not allowed to be taken at the moment. Waiting in base for an item. We'll go ahead and grab that. Starts running on towards the top side of the map with Ivern returning to the bot lane.
Yep, nice little poke damage there from Seraphine. Does use her Q on the minions rather than trying to land it on the Soraka. We do see Heimerdoodles on the Jarvan walking down into this mid lane, potentially looking for a nice gank here, and I do think he sees the angle.
Yeah, that's going to be the Encore swinging completely wide. Unfortunately, that would have been another kill onto the Senna, but Seraphine just absolutely jukes him. Instead, CEO will be able to take away that bot lane as now here comes Jarvan with the ultimate Cataclysm, but a great flash comes through from Senna as now the Jarvan was in a pretty bad spot and will be able to get right on out of there. Teleport available for the Malphite, but they tell him, no, we don't need it, we're fine, we will live. I spent my flash, it's okay. We have a lot of healing from Senna, from the Soraka. And without any anti-healing, it seems a little criminal to let them get away with that one. I do think they need at least something. If Seraphine were to get Chemtech, I think that would be really good, but I think that's going to come a little bit too late. I think going ahead and using some anti-heal now would benefit them quite a bit.
Yeah, whether it's Chemtech or Morale for Seraphine, either one is a good option. I do believe Chemtech is the better option on her, but I do see some people take Morale on Seraphine every once in a while.
I love Merle from Walking Dead.
Ah, yes.
Like an item that stops people from healing.
I think the best item from...
No, go on.
I was gonna say, I think the best item that doesn't heal from Walking Dead would be Negan. He's pretty good at making sure they don't heal.
That's true. That's very true. I agree. He kind of broke my heart into two. Just a few too many times. As we will see what exactly they can get done here. Malphite might want to look for this kill onto the Seraphine, but Senna so far up in an illegal position will be knocked up and taken down. Jinx is going to get excited. Got to close him onto the Malphite, but they don't want to walk up. They're too scared. The Encore is going to swing wide. That's going to be a bad situation to be playing from here. Sion, he's going in, but there's no one that the Jinx can hit. Malphite looking for an angle with the unstoppable force still available. Will get stunned up, will get damaged up, will get knocked up, trying to find anything, and finally gets taken down. Was taking so long to press the go button. Now the Kindred trying to find the fight. The flash is going to come just barely too late. Jinx going under the tower. The snipe with the W gets excited and runs on out of there. ROTM absolutely running away with this game right now. A 3-for-0 play, and they're going to get the dragon on top of that. Finally finding the fight that they needed to take the game firmly into their hands.
Yeah, but I do want to point out that was actually a 4-for-0. The Senna did die extremely early in that fight. Ivern was the only one to survive.
Oh, you're very correct about that. I didn't even see that. Thank you. Senna did die so early that she was able to respawn. Not really get back to the fight at all. Not really stop them from getting that mid lane tower either. As this Jinx is only going to get more fed off this back as well. She has 1,700 gold in her pocket, so watch those items. I believe that'll be her RFC. There it is. As I like that a lot for how she needs to fight this. I think you might be like, oh, get Runeans, and I would call you Bronze. because rapid fire cannon is just a little bit better when you're playing against something like the Malphite or the Senna. If you want to try to outrange for as long as possible. For the case of the Senna, for Malphite, it's you want to make sure you don't have to walk up too close, because if he ults you, you just die. And when you don't have flash available, it becomes a little bit harder. And you didn't build Gale Force this game, so relying a lot on that Kraken, relying a lot on your own mobility to make sure that you can stay alive. Gonna make things a lot harder if you had to, walk a little bit further up, right?
And we do see that Jarvan is going to be taking out this Kindred. Maybe Kindred actually lives here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, very greedy to go for that play, because there's just no way you're going to be able to kill that Kindred all by your lonesome when there's all that heals and shields that can come on by. And lo and behold, the enemy team has that Soraka, has that Senna, has that Ivern. And one of those champions, or sorry, two of those champions can heal or shield you from anywhere on the map. As now Sion's going to be the next one to get caught out, as things are going very poorly. Now Encore is going to hit onto the Kindred. Kindred's going to get stunned up, but here comes Jinx. Will it be enough? This Sion is so tanky. Knockup is not going to hit. That's going to be the Q over the wall from the Kindred, trying to find the play. Soraka trying to peel away, trying to use that kiting, but now Victor is here, and he is doing damage. There it is. It's now Jinx is going to get excited. Is going to start running down this Ivern. Ivern going to get hit up with so much of this damage as the rockets, the range is there. As, oh, what a Mr. President moment from Daisy. Go ahead and block away that W. The roots are coming through. W will not quite hit. That is A-okay, because that bad play turns into a great one. Rocket, Super Mega Death Rocket will hit, but will not kill. Ivern so low. This Baron is going to be the next target. And even though Jarvan dies at the beginning of that one, CEO by a little bit more than they can shoot, and ROTM will secure the Baron.
Yeah, unfortunately, I want to say the downfall of that entire fight was on the side of CEO's jungler Ponyboy. Unfortunately, he kept trying to engage, even though he still had about 15 seconds left on his ult to come off a cooldown. And it's like, you can't really play Kindred without your ult, especially in a team fight like that.
I mean, it was the idea that they thought they could burst down the Sion, and they didn't think that, just Sion and Seraphine would be enough to fight them without, like, the Jarvan, who was a lot of their damage. But what they forgot is how close the Jinx can get to that fight. As soon as Jinx gets to that fight, right, if Sion's still even a little bit alive, the fight cannot be won at that point. I think it's super hard to win it. You didn't have teleport either from your Malphite. Malphite wasn't really nearby. Couldn't really use that ultimate to its fullest effect. So, and then you also get split up from your Soraka, who I believe kites up, while your Senna and your Kindred are on the other side of the fight. So I think if Kindred actually doesn't go over the wall and kites up a little bit and allows himself to get healed by the Soraka, he actually has a much higher chance of being able to pop that ult and live and fight to see another day.
Now that the game has gone on for quite a little bit, I look over at the side of CEO and I realize they have two characters that have really nice knockup abilities, but you don't even have the man who relies on the knockups, Yasuo himself. It seems like there's actually a missed opportunity on this team composition.
Yeah, to play Yasuo ADC, I agree. 100%.
Yeah, ADC, mid lane, either way.
No, just ADC. Mid lane, again, for betas, is now... That's going to be the Malphite in a very bad spot. Will uses his ult and flash. Speaking of betas, as that will be the Malphite getting away as a result, though, so you can't really blame him for using all of those abilities to do so, as now that will be the Senna almost dying, but will be just fine. I believe there was a body block for the Super Mega Death Rocket there. Oh, the Cataclysm! You can't body block that, but that will be the Kindred who uses that ultimate to keep the Senna alive, just barely. Will they have teleports coming through? It's a lot of healing coming through as well, but guess who's here? It's Jinx trying to find that reset, as now they want to go ahead and push as much as they can, but with Victor on the other side, it is just fine. They can just stay here and, pressure as much as they can to allow Victor to do his thing on the other side of the map. 2, 1, and 5, but it just provided so much for his team in game number 2.
Yeah, definitely want to say that Middle Sticks is definitely not looking mid at all this game as if they were in game 1. It does appear they are going to be collecting soul point very quickly here, and are also going to be denying that nice soul capture for Kindred.
Yeah, absolutely. You love to see that. As the question is, will they be able to take away this next tower? Does not look like it, even with that Baron buff, but they will secure that Dragon Soul, that Mountain Dragon Soul. you were just talking about. 11K gold lead for the sides of ROTM. It just is a stomp in game one. Seems like it's going to be another stomp in game number two, but the other way around. And I gotta say, if this game goes, or the series goes the distance, I will be very excited. Oh no, Kindred! Kindred, no, he's got AirPods in! As now he will be knocked up into the stratosphere and taken down by the Scion. The Scion's gonna find that kill. Is very easily able to get away should he so want to, as he finally just walks on out of here and will be just fine.
Man, that is a meme I have not heard in a hot minute.
Thank you. As I thought it was pretty fitting for what happens.
It was.
As that's Senna! Oh no, she's got AirPods in too!
Oh no!
And she's gonna get taken down by the Cataclysm for what seems like the fourth time this game, dying in the same exact way. The mid lane tower is gonna go down. The mid lane inhibitor is gonna go down as well. As they can just keep pushing the issue as well. Get every single inhibitor on this map and pressure the base with super minions right after. And with a Jinx, it will be oh so easy to do.
Yeah, it definitely appears that everyone on CEO this game has left their AirPods in, and unfortunately, instead of like having their communications on, they all seem to be listening to like different types of music.
And you know, ROTM has spent a lot of time with them too, so they're like accidentally tracking their AirPods instead, so they know where they are at all times. I don't know if you've had that happen to you or someone else.
Oh yeah.
But it is a thing. It's very weird, but it's kind of funny. As we'll see what they can get done now. As maybe they could go ahead, find this next tower, as find the Nexus as well. The siege without Baron buff will be a little bit harder. There is decent, it's okay wave clear from the Kindred, from the Senna. That's really the only ones that they have. The wave clear, once the supers start funneling in from every single lane, it is going to get so much harder. Here comes Scion though, as now they want to try to find a play onto this Malphite. Malphite has no, he gets two with it, as now Kindred wants to go in, uses that ultimate. Will have to try to fight in that Cataclysm on the back end. Jinx ran out of the Kindred ultimate, will go down, but was doing just fine, as the rest of her team will just start running over everybody. The Ivern is the last one. No, sorry, it's the Soraka and Malphite who are the last alive, but will they be able to do much? Not with the Victor doing so much damage. Now with the Nexus under fire, Scion doesn't care about anything. This Nexus is not so long for this world. There it is, 50 gold goes to the Jarvan, and that will be ROTM taking home game number 2.
Yep, definitely a bit of a different match from the game one that we had. And yep, that is definitely a bit of a turning the tables, as some would say.
Yeah, just a tad. I feel like the tables were like adequately turned this game. Just a little bit. As we can go ahead and go back to the analyst desk, I believe our good friend Becky has some stuff to say about game number 2 here. At least I'd imagine, if that's something that we can do. Awesome. As hopefully we don't like jump scare. Welcome
All
back.
right. Surprise. This is actually a jump scare. Boo.
Oh,
Welcome.
you scared.
We're back on the desk, and we have 2 stomps in a row, but going in opposite directions. In
Yeah.
game 1, we see a 6-minute fight around the first blue buff going absolutely south for the
Goodness.
side of Rise of the Middle Sticks, and they lose the game off of that 6-minute fight. And then in the second game, for some reason, Contingent Esports Orange decided to draft what I can charitably call a LSXYZ OK comp. Just a lot of champions that are
Questionable.
this, now that we sure, it's a bit of results based analysis, but I don't think we really got to see this this draft that CEO put together actually do anything, and I'm not convinced it was going to do anything to begin with. So I want to give it to Kongman here. looking at what do you think the theory is behind why CEO approached Game 2 this way?
That's actually a bit of a weird and good question, if you ask me. Kind of like what I said to Shogun, which clearly they proved me wrong. Is I thought there was a big enough team diff between them that they could just draft whatever they want and could still win. But
No.
clearly, clearly that is
No.
incorrect.
I would agree with that assessment of how that went. Definitely did not seem like they could do whatever they wanted in game number 2. Uh,
No.
in,
No.
in fact, like they tried. It was another thing where like they tried to make like a super heads up play and go for the Rift Herald, but like one dragon was up, and then when dragon gets taken, it's like, why hasn't Rift Herald been taken? That was like my biggest like that needed to happen in order for that to be like a good play. So that's just like kind of a question mark ping from me. Is like the only like super big issue that I had with how they played game number 2. I did have some problems with the draft. Ivern mid existing. I think there was a way you win that, which is you do. I think their idea of fighting them around the dragon was interesting. Or sorry, the Rift Herald was interesting. But Jinx was the Fed one, and at that point, trying to fight against Fed Jinx without being able to get on Jinx first is rather scary.
Yeah, no. CEO, they drafted what could be a very oppressive front to back composition, but not really a great composition at diving. Because you have the Malphite, uh, but then that's it. Kindred can try and get some flanks off, and I guess technically there's Ivern. If Ivern lands a Q on the Jinx, somehow Jinx walks up and just gets hit by Ivern Q. That's the go button for everyone on your team. But it's so risky to even attempt to do that. And because the Jinx got so far ahead, this front to back comp could not fight front to back because they just lose every single time. Jinx is far too powerful. And J4's engage is so much more effective than what than what than what CEO drafted. It's bizarre. It was a bizarre draft. I'm all down for the weird ideas though, and I think it's better that players experiment and try these new things out than just sort of fumble around with Ornn every single game. I think that is much more appreciated. With that, I believe we can go ahead and go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be in the draft for Game 3 of the series between CEO and Rise of the Middle Sticks. Who will take the first series of the season? Stick around. We'll have the answer after the break.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 3 of the series between Contingent Esports Orange and on the blue side. And on the red side, we will have Rise of the Middle Stakes Dark Wind. Very excited to see how this series ends because those last 2 games were some bangers. Stomps, they were bangers. They were stomps in different directions, right? So we had CEO taking home game number 1 in convincing fashion off of a 4 or 5 minute fight, 6-0, 4,000k gold lead. Never really deteriorated from there. Then we have ROTM going ahead and having a very similar, it was more even towards like that 10-minute mark, but then there was a huge fight and it just spiraled out of control from there. I believe it was a Baron buff that ROTM were able to get, and it was very quick to end the game. That's something I actually have to sing praises about in those 2, stops. Is yes, while ROTM was slower to, get to that point where they were stomping, felt less flukish than game number 1, and they closed out really fast. Where CEO took a while to close out when they should have closed out a lot sooner, in my opinion. But we do see ROTM going back to that Jinx. Will not have the Seraphine this time around. They banned the Lulu, they banned the Yumi, banned the Tristana. Let CEO get that first pick Seraphine that they can flex around. And so we'll see what they want to pair up with that Jinx. What are you thinking that they're thinking of for the side of ROTM, assuming that they don't go ahead and pick it right here? Never mind, it's Janna. So therefore, what do you think the jungle matchup?
I think they're going to be picking Janna.
Oh, okay. What makes you say that? That's so weird.
Not sure. I mean, to be fair, that could be
Okay.
Janna's Smite top. For those of you who remember that good old
No,
game.
they
Another
did it again. They did it. It's the same 3 picks basically, but it's Seraphine instead. I swear to God, it's not even gonna be okay. Okay. Oh God.
please,
It's a ROTM stop. It's a Yasuo. Just pick Yasuo, and it's like funny again. Just if the last picks, if they pick 4th pick for ROTM, they pick Malphite hype. They last pick Yasuo. Game over. There's no AP damage. That's fine. You don't need it.
I am very far down in my chair. I'm sure the ones on stream can see this. I don't know if you can. But please do not be another Ivern mid. I cannot
Nah,
handle
that'd be hype. That'd be hype. It'd be okay if it's Ivern ADC too. That'd be pretty cool. Just not Ivern jungle. Ivern jungle boring. We don't stand
No,
that.
Ivern jungle fun.
No. Ivern jungle crazy treatment. Okay, that's
No
no
ban?
ban. We will see what they say it is. It is Malphite. Boo! No, they don't get that ban. They gotta spend it on the next ban. Hot take. The mouth ban makes me sad. Also, if you're listening to me saying that Malphite would be hype here, screw you. Cause now I'm sad that we don't get to see Malphite. I'm actually very upset about this.
Don't worry, there's still a chance for Yasuo ADC. Once again, Silas ban. Let's see what this ban is. If they opt to ban something or take the few extra seconds to then put it in chat.
I know. I don't think you really opted it. They're gonna ban the Scion instead.
They are. Yeah, it is going to be confirmed. Let's see what ROTM picks. I do believe they're going to be picking a top. Actually, they might pick mid laner here. They might just go Victor again.
I think that would be a safe idea. Pair it with that Jarvan. His Victor is pretty good. He had a pretty free lane. Now this time around, you don't know if you're gonna have as free of a lane. Oh wait, never mind. He didn't have a free lane. Ivern solo killed him.
Yes.
Which I completely forgot. He wants revenge. Back. Again, it could be the Seraphine.
They're running it back.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind the Victor though. I think it's fine.
Okay, pick Yasuo.
Okay.
We know the players are listening because one of them asked for stream link.
Hover Yasuo if listening to stream. Watch this. Watch this. Someone's gonna hover Yasuo now. It's not like you're not allowed to do it. We're gold players. We don't know what we're talking about. Do it, please, please.
Do it. Yes, good top laner. Good top laner. Yes. All right, Yasuo. Show the Yasuo.
Come on. You know you want to. Do it. Do it. I don't think he's gonna do it. That's fine though. It's like we're
oh. Go on.
I don't think they're gonna do it. Or just lock it in. Locking it in would be fun.
Just lock it in.
Just come on, just lock it in. Ew.
Okay, no, that's not it. Okay,
Ew.
oh, that's better.
Ew. It got
Yo,
worse.
okay,
It got
that's pretty
worse.
good.
It got so much
Come on,
worse.
Rotom, if you're listening to us, we need to see a Yasuo float.
Okay, he's not gonna hover Yasuo top in the Tom Kench, who we're assuming is going
How
to
do
top.
you? No. I already see the
Actually,
composition.
wait, no. Sorry.
Wukong top, Ivern jungle, Seraphine mid, Senna Tom bot lane.
You know, what's wild to me is that's actually perfectly reasonable, and it's just as reasonable to say it's going to be Tom Kench, Wukong, Ivern, Senna, Seraphine. And one of those comps is much better, and one of them is much worse. I'll let you guys decide which one that is. I'll give you a hint. The one that I want it to be is not the better one. that's
I was
the
gonna
small
say,
little hint that I'll give you.
we haven't had any polls open this whole stream. Can we open a poll to decide which one is the better option?
Not the better option, the correct option.
Which is the better option?
Well, the better option is not putting Ivern mid again. That would be the better option. At least
Yes.
in my opinion.
Okay,
Is it Ivern mid or Ivern jungle?
Yeah, there's the question. Is it Ivern
That
mid
essentially
or
that's all you
Ivern
really gotta ask.
jungle? There we go.
Doesn't everything else kind of like falls into place after that?
All right, and we are going to be getting the R's coming in from both teams. All right, and yep, we do have the poll coming up. Is it Ivern? Go ahead and take your vote. Mid or jungle, ladies and gentlemen. I know exactly where I'm throwing my vote.
Well, yeah, like. Oh, it's split down the middle. Speaking of split down the middle, it's no longer split down the middle. It's split towards the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's mid lane that's winning.
Technically, if you want to argue, jungle is also mid because it is the middle of the map.
Nope. It's
Yep.
like they're like the quadrant.
See,
it's not the middle. It's in the middle of the lanes.
Yeah, exactly. So you have like top lane, which is your top piece of bread.
That's like
Your bot lane, which is your bottom piece of bread, and then the
there's
rest is the middle.
oh,
Top.
No, stop it. No, that's
Come on,
okay. You don't.
please, lock in.
Well, now Wukong can't go top unless it's Wukong mid. Then everything's saved. But come on, man.
Ivern jungle.
I'll be corrected.
Ivern jungle.
Oh god. Oh no, it's a disaster. I'm actually pretty hyped because that means my predict. Like what I'm seeing now is convincing me that my prediction is probably going to be correct. This is like
CEO did so good game one. I was like, yes, I'm gonna have a 1-0 start to the season, and now they're just throwing it away.
They're getting real cute with the drafts. I think that's the main thing. It's like, what are you doing? I just don't understand. I do think just don't lane swap. I think that's my thing. Is if you lane swap, I think it's actually way more doomed. Why is Prime Video streaming sports? Is it Thursday Night Football already? That can't be real.
It is Thursday night.
Is it preseason?
It is preseason.
Okay, that's
we are in last week of preseason.
Okay, well,
I looked over at stream. I like how I'm barely visible on my camera because it's just like how much I don't want to watch this.
What do you mean? This is gonna be a great game.
No, we're just gonna watch Ivern AFK in mid lane again.
What do you mean? He solo killed Victor.
Listen,
Ivern mid is goated with the sauce.
Ivern is a jungler. His passive is all about the jungle.
No, it's not. It's about going to the jungle camp and then getting it, and then and then you can just give the jungler the buff.
All about the jungle.
Well, yeah.
Listen.
Why would you use it to actually jungle? That's just silly.
Ivern is so much of a jungler than any other laner that even in ARAM his passive is indifferent.
So you're telling me that Ivern should be Soraka here and it would be better?
Yes.
Soraka, you know what? I can get behind that. I get that. What would if it wasn't banned? Would Yuumi mid have been better than Ivern?
Literally anything would have been better.
What if they funneled this game? What if they went Taric Yi instead of Wukong?
That would have been fine. Here's the if they had just swapped Wukong and Ivern, 10 out of 10. but because they didn't, it's like a -10.
Watch, they're gonna win this game now, and it's gonna be Ivern going like 10-0 in lane. He's gonna solo kill Victor 10 times.
Victor is secretly Yasuo in disguise. He gets his O10 power spike.
Also, I find it fun. We didn't touch on this like at all. Seraphine is going ADC and Senna's going to support this game. So like they were like, oh, wait, no, sorry, this is C. Okay, no, this is correct. So they were like, hey, Bibble boy, you need to like take the AirPods out, or we can't let you play Senna. He's like, what's that? I can't hear you. I have AirPods in, and they're like, okay, guys, put them on Seraphine. Don't let him play Senna again. Which is funny because Seraphine has the same issue where if she walks up, she'll die like instantly. So it's still gonna like if positioning is bad, it is easier to position on Seraphine though because everything you do is like from 2 screens away. And this is like an argument that I had with someone where like that's what makes her like super strong and like super broken. So whereas Senna, you can't do it from like 2 screens away, and you can only do it from like a screen away, like halfway into the game, when you have all those souls. So we'll see if game number 3 is a repeat of game number 2 based on draft, or if they can make this salty run back actually work.
Yep, it is definitely going to be very interesting to see if they can run it back. But before the run it back happens, we hope to see you all running back to your computers, RTVs, to watch this amazing Game 3 between CEO and ROTM. We don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the thrilling conclusion of the series between Rise of the Middle Sticks and Contingent Esports Orange. On the blue side, I believe it's Contingent Esports Orange, and on the red side, it is Return of the Middle Sticks. Never mind, how could I forget which one CEO is? Look at that beautiful draft that they have. Oh yes, that is something only they could come up with for sure. Or I guess LS, he could probably also come up with this.
Yep, this is definitely a team composition that I am doing my best not to comment on.
What do you mean? Comment on it.
Listen, I would spend the whole game explaining why this is a bad team composition, but then you would have like no room to talk during the whole match. The whole game 3 would just be ranting about this team composition. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, as we will see what exactly they can do in the game number 3 here, especially looking towards the just everything actually on the side of Contingent Esports Orange. I'm hopeful. I'm not actually. I'm hopeful that they'll lose because I bet against them in my predictions. So you know what? They've got casters cursing them. Hopefully, that would be the goal. As we will see yet another fasting Senna, which I think with the Seraphine is a little bit easier to pull off. That was a very slow Janet's running, but funny enough. There's going to be a lot of damage going down onto this Jinx this time around. It's going to be a lot harder for them. Oh my goodness, look at all the damage that they're able to trade right back onto the Senna, though. As Seraphine are going to have, or Seraphine is going to have a little bit of a harder time in this matchup. Hopefully Jinx can go ahead and hit this level 2 soon. Because if they can't, it's going to get a little dicey to go ahead and stay pushed up, so they get forced off the wave right there, as their enemies hit level 2 before they do.
Yep, and luckily if you hit level 2 before your opponents, you do have a little bit more free reign, but unfortunately the Seraphine E does go wide.
Yes, it does. That's going to be the W that I believe might have hit the Senna there. As in the top lane earlier, we saw Tom Kench kind of pushing the issue and making sure that Aatrox wasn't able to get level 2 for as long as possible.
Yep, and we do see 2 level 3s in the mid lane, so mid lane is just kind of stalemated. I do have to refresh my scoreboard. I didn't realize it was bugged this whole time. There we go.
It happens. It happens. Wonderful client that we have. So now that's going to be a lot of damage down onto this Jinx. She's going to have to start running back. That'll be just fine. No heal available. Does have that ghost instead. Will force out that early recall, and as a result, maybe they get the stop on the back. That it will find its mark as Jinx is not doing too hot. You argue that maybe he has to stay, as now looking for a gank onto the top catch. Doesn't get the W off. Doesn't flash though, as the sweet spot will swing wide. They want to go for it, or at least one of them did. But I think the Aatrox is like, no, let's not risk it. We got his flash. That's enough. And that seems to be exactly what they're going to go ahead and do. Just take that one in stride. Look at all those autos, all those notes that fly. Jinx is like, what happened to me? There's no animation there. That's not a real auto attack. That was not cool.
I feel like Jinx would be a really good person to play Apex Legends, because, much like how there's no auto attacks, there's no audio in Apex, so it's like very similar there for you Apex watchers.
There's no Apex watchers here. There's only
I'm an Apex watcher.
Yeah, you're the only people in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Unless someone else wants to dispute that, I'm willing to bet.
Yo, any Apex gamers in chat?
This will be Janna. Not sure exactly what she's doing. She does dodge away from that W right there. As now Jarvan's going to go in. They're actually just baiting the entire time. There's a flash available for the Senna. Senna's going to go ahead and use that. Ghost comes out. Okay, Jinx! What the heck is that? Loker's going to go down! Why? Whoa! Wow! Goes in with the E, the flash EQ combo. Now that's how you do it. That's how you flash in for a kill. Jinx? No. No.
So we watch Jinx int die, and then we see Wukong go Jinx. This is how you do a flash combo.
I will be the best, Wukong says, and then he does. That's a voice line, by the way. That's when you lock him in Champ Select. If you didn't know that, now you do. There you go.
Whoa, I did not know that. Thank you for the helpful information.
Yeah, it's super helpful. I'm sure like that'll come up. The only time it came up was watching a Travis Gafford video, and that's what one of the questions was for the contestants. There you go. I answered Rumble. Rumble was wrong.
I might have answered like Kled or something.
No, you already know what Kled sounds unhinged with his voice lines.
True. To be fair, I've played Kled like twice.
Kled also funny. So we will see what they can do here. Oh, a nice slow. Solid poke damage from the... Okay, I feel like... Did they slow her Q again? Why is her Q so slow?
Because I do believe she's just tapping it and sending it. Because if you let it charge up, it will move faster. But if you just tap and go, it doesn't go as far, but it goes slower.
Oh, hey, I've seen this one before. No flash available, though. And he wants to save his W for as long as possible, but I think he'll die if he does that. That will be okay there. They found him with the little flag there. He does finally W out. He should still die. They want to try to give the kill over to Atra. Guys, stop, please! Kill him! He flashes. Okay, they managed to find the kill. I was getting a little panic there. In the bot lane, they're going for the fights that they just cannot take. The flash forward, the E, is not enough damage. The barrier, no barrier, just a shield, just normal shield, just normal Jaina shield. Keeps her alive. And the bot lane is a disaster. Oh, my scoreboard's also broken. Was you lucky there?
Oh, look at the CS difference. 46 for Seraphine, 19 for Jinx.
Okay, that's a little absurd. that's a because okay, look at this too. Another wave is getting denied. I'm pretty sure most of that wave. I don't know if there was a cannon under there. Either way, Jinx had to get forced off the wave before this. Died twice. This is her second time dying. Is coming back now. Has been forced off waves in general, and I'm pretty sure because her back was off because she didn't respect the range that Seraphine had, and then just run away. There has been a very bad time for this Jinx to try to farm, and Seraphine's having a grand old time, doing fine.
Sorry, I want to point out our host is in chat saying that this is all Ivern, baby, easy clap. No, this is not an Ivern. Diff. This is an Ivern. This is an Ivern that is 16 CS behind and barely has any items.
Yeah, I agree. I heavily agree. As we will see,
he is 300 gold behind his mid laner.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that's a lie.
That is what I'm looking at here.
No, I don't think we need to like show the audience that that's true or not. I think you can just take it from me that that's false.
If production can quickly hit the X button, you can see on the scoreboard it updates to show the gold diffs for everyone.
I'm pretty
there
sure.
It is.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, now it's almost 400.
I think if
you press that magical button again, the gold disappears, and suddenly Shogun is confident in himself.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I will say the gold lead will start to increase from whatever the number actually is, as you do see that he's almost got a 20 CS lead. Senna, why? Okay, she's allowed to be there. She's just getting vision. She's not really in danger of dying because she has the Wukong close by. She has the Ivern close by. They do something similar to what they did earlier, but instead of lane swapping, just send Seraphine, and the dragon has already been taken by them as well. So there's no way that this should realistically go wrong. They actually want to try to find a play on to this Jarvan. Jarvan is running away at this point, though. I don't think you can really force it any more than that. As we will see Loka go ahead and just ward up. Do see Shredded leave. He should join back immediately. We're going to probably have a little bit of a lag in a little bit. Just waiting for that inevitable moment that the Riot Clan loves to give to us. Okay, it's happened again. Maybe... Oh, there it is. There's a real pause. So maybe there will be lag after this.
Right. There's the unpause. And as usual, the client will freeze for a moment, but as long as we don't touch anything, it should be fine.
Yep, that is usually the goal. Now Wukong will go ahead and spin all around in a circle, trying to go in, does use that W, trying to find a kill, but the shields are coming through. There it is, that will be one kill going over to each side. Ivern wants to try to get more. Now is not the time! Riot.
As we do see Ivan's left leg perched up, getting ready to kick this Jarvan, and it does unpause. Unfortunately, Ivan is the one who gets kicked.
He's gone. As now they're gonna try to kite away from this one, but Senna is going to easily be able to just leave. As yeah, that's that mid-game fighting power of the Ivern, baby. That's the goods right there.
I want to point out this is 2 times now that we have paused on an Ivern, and I've predicted Ivern doing well, and he just immediately dies afterwards.
Oh, there was no way. Okay, so the Cataclysm was also up, which is what I was gonna mention. If like the lag happened a little bit more, because there was no way Senna could join the fight. So Ivern was so dead. He was so unbelievably dead.
Listen, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. It is Ivern, you know, as people like to say, the Ivern mid diff.
Yes, but in which direction is it a diff? Oh, this is a freeze from. Okay, I gotta say, Masuf is smurfing on this guy. He is playing more like a diamond player than Shredded is. Shredded is playing like a. I don't know why he's been put on tank duty for 3 games, or at least I think it was 3 games. Because yeah, it was. So he played Mordekaiser, he played Malphite, he's playing Tahm Kench. Maybe that's how he wins his games, like in solo queue. But it feels like he should be their carry, based on what we're seeing. I mean, there is, like, the bot lane has been doing really well, but it's come off of, like, really weird things from the other side. Like, you just out-macroed the team in game number 1 to get that really early lead. In game number 3 here that we've been watching, Jinx flashed forward after ghosting to try to find a kill, and Wukong was right there. So it's not, like, as well as you're playing the game, right? It's not 100% on you that happened, right? That's a huge mistake from Jinx, right? So you really feel like maybe there should be some attention being given to this top laner. Maybe the top laner should be on something that can, you know, fight a little bit harder. As now Wukong is here, they want to go ahead and keep trying to make the plays happen down here. That will be the encore hitting. That will be the ultimate as well. But now mid lane is going to go down. That's going to be yet another kill coming through. The Super Mega Death Rocket will hit, but not kill. It didn't travel far enough. They want to go ahead and try to find something. They want to try to find the play. Aatrox is coming down. He has that TP. I really love this play. Because guys, what you can do, you can TP right on back. Tahm Kench is coming to the bot lane. He's sniffing this one out. They actually saw the Aatrox, I guess, is what happened. As now, here he comes. That will be the Abyssal Voyage there. As now, trying to find the plays onto the Seraphine. Doing what he can. Playing, flashing forward, but will go down. He is out of there. The TP coming through from the Iron. All of a sudden, this is not fightable. The flash Q will miss its mark. The zoning W will be enough to get them away for now. Dragon is spawning. Dragon is up. Now, Wukong wants to go in onto the Jarvan. Jarvan has to get out of there. As now, they don't want to go ahead and fight this Dragon. They think they're too powerful on the other side. Janna starting to walk in, but really should not have that confidence to do so. No Super Mega Death Rocket for the steal. 5 members strong are on this side of the map. And when you don't have your Aatrox with that TP, not really doable. He just spawned, so he's just going to go ahead, revisit the top side, try to push this as much as possible. Meanwhile, this should be a dive angle. I don't know why they're still here. That's going to be the W landing, and that will be a very dead Jinx. You have to imagine. There it is, but the TP is coming through from the Victor. Ponyboy getting very low. Will not quite find the Janna. That's so much damage that the tower is doing. They finally are able to get it. That's still going to be the Tahm Kench going down. Jarvan does have that Cataclysm available very shortly. Black and Dragon, if he can find it, the ultimate, they're going to just barely get away. Meanwhile, Aatrox is pushing as much as he can on the top side of this map. Maybe answer a tower, as this game is neck and neck. 100 gold divides these 2 teams.
Yep, 100 gold divides these teams, but it does appear Aatrox is going to be pushing this top side a lot faster and potentially take this tower, because unfortunately Tahm is just now respawning and he doesn't even have TP.
No, he doesn't. He used it earlier to get back down. He ends up trading tower for tower, and as a result, it looks like the side of ROTM will be up almost a full K. We'll call it 700 gold right now, as that's going to be not impossible to overcome, not necessarily difficult to overcome either, especially given the positions of both teams, looking at where the gold is allocated. Now, what you might be scared of is, yes, Victor 3-0-1. We saw what he was doing towards the end of the game in game number 2, and it was not pretty. It kind of flew under the radar because of how well the Jinx was doing. But with Jinx being 0-3 in game number 3 here, you do expect that the Victor will have to start picking it up, and I really think that this player will be able to do that.
Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see what can and can't be done. As we do see Ivern chilling in the bot lane, and unfortunately it appears there's going to be a skirmish in the mid lane.
Yeah, Jarvan says, no, I'm good, and leaves, which is the correct decision for sure. Definitely don't want to stick around for that one, try to fight it. Now he will go ahead and just start farming up these Krugs. Seal away that one is now. What can the Wukong and the Senna get done? The answer is, together not too much, maybe with the rest of the team though. Going ahead and taking away this Rift Herald. Yes, the Jarvan could walk in. He could steal it, but he would definitely pay. He does have Flash, so he wouldn't necessarily pay with his life. Meanwhile, Victor wants to go ahead and either start taking this tower or walk up back to mid lane. Looks like he wants to make sure that his team stays safe in mid. Loger getting very low, or not very low, but could have been CC'd in just a second, as now everybody is converging onto this mid lane. Question is, will it be enough? They're going to knock up that Rift Herald. They want to try to make something happen. The Aatrox is on the flank. He wants to try to go in. They seem to notice him. But with Jarvan right here, it's not going to be doable. The tower does not go down. Rift Herald will be taken. And everybody's going to start resetting unless, no, they want to take this tower. They want to siege it up. The question is, can they?
Yeah, unfortunately they do only have one tower. To the other team's one tower, but they would like to potentially crack open this mid lane and help push just a little bit easier.
Just a little bit. That's going to be the last minion taken away there. Will they be able to push in just a little bit more? Oh, as they're going to have Wukong go back over the wall. Should be just fine though. As Aatrox not really having a lot to do, we're like kind of going back to game number 1 and like how the performance is. Aatrox wants to try to find some sort of hero play. Here comes the Jarvan with the Cataclysm. That's going to be Encore landing onto the Janna, but is Janna enough? No, it's not. That's going to be the Seraphine getting taken down as Senna is running the wrong direction there, as that's going to be a great ultimate from Janna to zone away this Wukong. Wukong close. Oh, the knock up onto the Senna on the other side. Super Mega Death Rocket will find its mark. That will be a kill. A great play from ROTM as they are able to strike back here. As now they will go ahead and start sieging up this mid lane tower. Dragon spawning in a minute, just under a minute there. As now Wukong wants to try to run down Jarvan, but it's not really doable. He wants to go for the smite. He does not get it. Ends up almost inting. Will flag and drag his way out of there. Victor was on the way too. Actually might have been a play that they could have gone for. Mid lane will go down to the, or thanks to the Jinx, of course, being able to spin up on that minigun makes it all too easy to do so. We'll go ahead and take those Raptors away from her jungler. Her jungler doesn't deserve. Jarvan seals away the big one. Tragic to see. That belongs to Jinx for sure. So we'll see each side reset for this dragon.
Yep, and I do believe this minion wave in mid is going to be able to take this tower unless Janna can race to it. Nope, the tower is just going to be able to eliminate those last 2 minions just in time.
Yeah, but this dragon being up in 5 seconds, TP coming through from Ivern. TP also can come through from the Tahm Kench. It's going to get started up here. I think, yeah, Tahm Kench does, in fact, TP in now. Their zone control of this dragon is phenomenal. They don't want to walk in on the side of ROTM, but they do have vision of it. Super Mega Death Rocket is just a little bit too early. A good bit too early, in fact, is now they're going to go ahead and take their own jungle and start going back towards their lanes, as instead it's going to be the side of CEO that's going to reset with that dragon.
Yep, it is definitely very interesting to see this match unfold before us. Excuse me. And it is interesting to see that even though CEO is down about 3,000 gold, they still have 3 dragons in their favor.
Yeah, for sure. I do think it's having those 3 dragons is going to be helpful. So now we'll see what they end up doing now. Tahm Kench wants to go ahead and get as many of these minions as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Jinx is going to go ahead and take away that Scuttle Crab.
And the ward from Victor.
True, very true. Will they be able to get anything done, make anything happen? 17 seconds on this Baron. That's going to be the next objective that everyone's going to want to have their eyes on, and I think that's much more doable for the side. Even though CEO has been taking all the objectives, I think ROTM has more reasonable way of getting this Baron. I think they're a lot more powerful right now, especially with the Victor being 3-0 and 2. I think the only reason that Dragon went over to the side of CEO is just because ROTM was on a really weird base, a really weird reset. Meanwhile, Tahm Kench going to be taking a lot of damage here. Misses that Q. The stun could have come through. That's going to be the W. Also, not being available means that Tahm Kench should just be dead. Has flash available. Could try to get out of here. Is fighting for his life, but will go down. Jarvan's going to take him down. As now, all of a sudden, Jinx is in a very bad spot. That's going to be the flash that comes out of her. Is now the teleport going to come through Super Mega Death Rocket right onto that Senna. The stun comes through onto the Aatrox, but that's going to be the Wukong doing what he can. The Cyclone onto the back line with the ultimate coming through as well. It's going to be a very low Aatrox. That is going to be able to find that kill. The flash forward from the Victor. Victor trying to find a kill. The Encore is going to come through. The charm is enough. The stun is doing what it can onto the Seraphine. Seraphine's going to go down finally. Senna somehow still alive. No Super Mega Death Rocket. Super Mega Death Rocket was used to get her a little bit lower in the first place. But that doesn't matter because they're going to turn their attention right towards this Baron.
Yep, it does appear they are going to be taking an easy Baron here because unfortunately Wukong respawning in about 10 seconds doesn't have enough time to race back up here and get it.
Not at all. This Baron is going down fast. They are going to start sending their members over to this objective to maybe find a hero play, but it's just not enough. There it is. As now they're going to go back in right onto this Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench going to be able to W right on out of there. Jinx getting a little bit aggressive as now I feel like the rest of her team has to rein her and go down. Down, boy. Do not go in. That is okay. We don't need you to do anything too crazy. We just take our Baron in stride and we will start sieging.
Yep, it is currently the sieging phase of the game, but we do have Mountain Drag in a minute 44, which luckily this is soul point for CEO, so even if they don't get it while Middle Sticks does have Baron buff, it won't be too detrimental for him.
I would have to agree there, as we do see each side kind of running back onto the map, as that will be the W swinging wide, trying to find the damage down onto that Janna. Janna going to keep running forward. Will be able to do anything. It does not look like it. As now that's going to be the Ivern taking that back down in the bot lane, as this Baron needs to be used. They're going to go ahead and get this bot tower, you'd have to imagine. Actually, don't think Aatrox has Baron. Maybe I'm wrong with that. I don't know if he respawned in time. I know he was dead kind of during it. Now we do have Wukong in a bit of a precarious spot fighting for this red buff. This is not the hill you necessarily want to die on, except he has that W to kind of stealth on out of there. Doesn't feel confident pushing for anything more. And Jam is going to get rooted up as here comes the team on Q. The tornado saves her life. The ultimate also doing what it can to save her life. That's just the bait in. Here comes the cataclysm. Here comes everything. The encore is going to hit. That's going to be a very low Aatrox. Never mind. He's full HP. What happened? That's going to be, I believe it's the Jarvan who's going to get low. Jarvan's going to go down, but Victor's just doing so much damage. The Jinx is here as well. Shredded, flashing over the wall. The W is going to swing wide onto Ivern. Will he be able to poke them out? The Victor is here, wants to try to find something. W's are landing. Everything is doing what they can. Let's see what they are able to get done. Maybe they can go ahead and get that tower in the bot lane. And will they hit the thing? They will. They will go ahead and hop right on over. Hey, look, it's a dragon. What the dog doing? Spawning there. As it comes right back on in. Will be taken away. And that will be Soul. No, not Soul.
Not
oh
Soul.
My goodness, that's the first dragon.
Yep, that is the first dragon for Middle Sticks. And I do want to say that all of that could have possibly changed, like that outcome of the fight could have changed if Cryogens on the Janna had actually gotten eliminated there.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you there. That would have been a pretty insane situation. Like, the amount of work, though, that Janna had to do to keep herself alive, I actually feel like is the reason that fight didn't go so much worse. It goes pretty bad. It goes pretty bad. You try to pick out the Janna, just doesn't work for you. But then you also lose a lot of members. You lose the dragon on top of that. That was your win condition, is you want to get this soul. Not being able to get that soul hurts you really bad. But on the other hand, when you're about to make that play, you're like, if we can kill Janna, we can force a fight, we can turn the tides of this game, and they just could not kill that Janna for some reason. Or, I don't know, did Janna die in that fight?
She did not.
She did not. Okay, cool. That's what I remember. Either way, okay, Wukong is starting to ping the bounties. It's like, all right, these are our targets. We got to get the money from Victor. We got to get that onto literally anybody that's not Ivern, and it's blessed. I also want to point out that Basting Senna is going Kraken Slayer. I really hope the Rage Knife was completed before the Rapid Fire Cannon was started. If that's not the case, that's actually kind of worrying. Maybe it doesn't matter that much. I will say Senna being at those 96 stacks makes this game more than playable. Unless Tom Kench gets caught out again, then it becomes a little sad. As here comes the Jarvan as they are pinging the Tom Kench to be careful. He's like, yeah, thanks guys. I wanted to be fighting this Aatrox for sure, for real. As now there goes the Tom Kench. He will die as the rest of the team on CEO is wanting to push down this mid lane. This top lane tower not so long for this world. It will go down. Jinx is going to get excited, start running on through. Will he be able to get this tower? Cataclysm round to the backline. They want to end this game right here, right now. Will he be able to do so? Encore comes through. That's so much damage. Senna is able to affect the map as well. And that is crazy. That's going to be a very low tower. Will he be able to do anything more than that? The Wukong is pushing up as much as he can, but it's not going to go so well. He can't push up anything more because Victor will just absolutely chunk him. They will be able to get those kills though and walk on out a 1-for-1. The Jarvan getting a little bit too crazy right there. Ends up going down as a result of it. They actually want to continue. Aatrox going over the wall. The Umbral Chains will land right onto the Senna. Senna is dead! And that is not good news. Get excited from Jinx. Jinx trying to get the resets. She can get the reset. There it is, but he's still not allowed to move. There he is, though. He's running on in. Trying to find the play. Trying to find all that damage on the Pony Boy. Pony Boy getting so low. The minion, I believe, protected him. Super Mega Bucket goes the other way. Click the mini-map. You can tell. I know that's what happened because I do it all the time. That will be the tower going down, getting excited once again. Wants to try to take down Tom Kench for what seems like the 7th time in this game. It's actually just the 5th. Tom Kench is going to go down, get excited again. Pony Boy's going in, trying to find the plays, but it's just not enough. Now, knowing that he can't get engaged on, he's just going to keep playing as up as he can. That's not even with a Lulu on him. That's just the power of this Jinx playing to the absolute fullest. As Jinx is going to start running out with the rest of his team towards this Baron. It should be super doable for this squad, as this game, this ROTM squad, looking like they got this one all but in the bag.
Yep, definitely have to agree with you there. And it is very unfortunate because I didn't predict CEO would win this. They had a dominant showing in game 1, and then it appears they just seem to have choked. We do see pings coming in from Jarvan, pinging about the dragon coming up in a minute. And it does appear that they're actually not going to go for this Baron here.
Unfortunately, I actually think that might be the wrong decision. I think giving over Mountain Soul is like, it's hard to say, right? Because I think you're far enough ahead that Mountain Soul isn't crazy, but it is that situation where, like, if you do choke a fight, all of a sudden you've already given them the win condition in the Mountain Dragon, and it's terrifying for them to go for it. Or it's terrifying to, like, do anything, because if you do throw, the game is just that much more doomed. And what I will say is this does also... What I'd be looking for from the side of... Hold on, is there's a fight breaking out real quick, as that's going to be the Flag and Drag right on top of everything, but that's going to be the Cataclysm that goes on to the Flash. Senna there, flash away from that Super Mega Death Rocket, still only to go down right after. They all have to peel out. The Senna is that you cannot fight this. There's no chance in hell that you have of winning this fight anymore. As I was saying before that fight broke out, is I think the reason you would want to get Dragon here, if you are CEO, is so that you can have Elder Dragon on the table to play for that for yourselves, I think would be huge, but prolonging Elder Dragon is actually pretty okay for ROTM, I'd say.
Yeah, but it does appear they are going to be running up the river, potentially looking to go for this Baron here. And I do believe that if Middle Sticks does pick up this Baron, that's just going to be GG's for them.
Yeah, it would be very hard to play from that position. I do think if they are able to peel adequately for the Senna, it's fine. It does feel like every time Senna walks up, it's just such a bad situation. The positioning has not been great. being able to get caught out by all that damage without the Cataclysm having come down. The fact that, oh my god, that's what I'm talking about, Senna never needs to be there. It goes down as a result. Ponyboy is getting very low, will be taken down. There it is, as now on the back line is just an absolute massacre. Starting doing whatever the heck he wants. That's going to be the Super Mega Death Rocket swinging wide, but here comes Jarvan. Does not have that Cataclysm available, but that is a-okay. Guess who's on the other side of this one with the TP? It is Victor. Victor TP'd right into the base. That's going to be ROTM taking the ace, taking the base, and that will be them winning the series 2-1 right after they take these towers in the Nexus, which is only a matter of time. Set up in 5 seconds. Nothing to be done about it, though. The Baron is here. The Nexus is gone. GG to Rise of the Middle Six Dark Wind.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that is a pretty nice way to start the season with a good reverse sweep. Although I'm not a fan of how this season started, because unfortunately that means I am 0 for 1 starting the season on predictions. Shogun, you are going to be 1-0 on predictions. Congratulations, my good sir.
Listen, by the way, if I'm wrong about Rise of the Middle Six, that's what everybody's saying. I thought it was Return, but I heard Rise like 5 times before, and I was like, well, I can't be right. I always mess up their name. So is it Rise? Someone correct me.
That is what I am pulling up right now, because I thought it is Rise.
I always thought it was Return.
Okay, it just says ROTM Dark Wind.
It does say ROTM. It is Return? Thank you. Just making sure that it is Return. See, that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah,
Because okay, I think someone else said Rise, and then someone else said Rise, and then it was me. And I was like, well, I must be wrong.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take responsibility for that one. I definitely said. Also, am I speaking through a tin can right now?
It's me. I have the tin can. I have dibs on all tin cans, actually.
Okay,
don't you know that's how we communicate?
Am I?
You sound fine on my end.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
It's sounding weird in my own headset, the feedback that I have. Anyways, sorry about that. You know, Scuff stream, gotta always bring it home that way. But man, what a strange series that was to start off the season. We have a convincing game 1 from CEO where they absolutely obliterate Return of the Middle Sticks, and then for some reason in game 2 they drafted the worst team comp I've ever seen in my entire life, and then in game 3 they're like, okay, let's do that again, but this time it's even worse. So
yeah,
I gotta say, quite commendable from the side of CEO. Like, I don't know what kind of copium they were huffing, and we saw actually a little bit in that game towards like the early to mid game. We saw a bit more of the power of the comp that they drafted that they could sort of theorize, but eventually it just did not matter how many heals, how many shields they delivered. They just could not beat the raw power that was drafted by Rise of the Return of the Middle Sticks.
Don't worry, Becca. We got plenty of people in chat trying to help us remember what exactly it is. We have Rise of the Fiddlesticks, Rise of the Return of the Middle Sticks, Rise of the Return of the Revenge of the Middle Sticks, Return of the Return of the Middle Sticks.
Middle Sticks Rising Revengeance, I think is the proper name of the team.
This is
but
Victoris League 3, Revenge of the Middle Sticks.
What do you think happened to CEO? Why do you think they committed to the same comp in game 3?
Can I answer this one?
Yes.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Because they thought Ivern was good and they're dumb.
I actually have like a more like giving them the benefit of the doubt going into this.
Let's hear the benefit of the doubt. All right, are they dumb or not?
No, they're
break
just,
it down.
See, here's the thing, right? Is I could have said this in a really mean way, and I'm gonna do it for the meme, which is they're not dumb, they're just bad. Let me explain. Let me expand upon that a little bit, which is it's not a complete draft gap because the draft on paper can work. It's that they never really showcased how strong it can be because in both games 2 and 3, the person playing Senna was getting caught out every single time. Jarvan was absolutely detrimental to them playing the team comp. It felt like the fact that there was a Jarvan on the map, they were like, guys, I don't know what to do. That guy can EQ me, and if he doesn't EQ me, he can ult me. Help. I don't know how to handle this. And that's like,
Help.
that's a very common like thing. And in game number 3, I'm not gonna like be super critical because they do have, someone who is playing support on the Senna. So it's like a much different, kind of play style than if you're playing Senna than playing a support. Whereas, yes, if you swap the champions, even if he is playing Seraphine, getting engaged upon on Seraphine in that same manner is also going to be pretty unforgivable. But it's, as I said in the pregame lobby, it's harder to get caught out on Seraphine because you get to stand so much further back. On Senna, you have to be so much more on point with your positioning. And to their credit, ROTM was doing a really good job of exploiting that weakness. And every time Senna was caught out, I mean, you saw it in the last fight, you saw it in the fight before that, you saw it a lot in game number 2. Every time they saw Senna even a little bit out of position, boom, they were dead. There was that mid-game fight as well where they were in mid lane. Both Seraphine and Senna were just a little bit too far up, and as soon as that happens, boom, EQ, flag and drag, too easy.
You might also say that, but as much as I keep hating on this Ivern, I do have the scoreboard from that game 3. The
Okay.
Victor was the damage leader at 22,831.
Yes,
How much do you think Ivern did?
I can see it.
Okay, we'll
I
pretend
think
you can't see it. Here,
all
we'll ask
right.
Becky, because he can.
Okay. Well, it's Ivern, so it's
Mhm.
not gonna be a high number.
Okay, well, you're not
Even
wrong.
in ARAM, when you build full AP, it's not a high number.
To his credit, he didn't do the least. I think that's important to mention. He
Yes.
didn't do the least.
Well, there was a Tom Kench. Thomas probably
No.
just
No,
didn't
no,
do anything.
He did
Tom
less than
Kench
Tom.
did more. Tom Kench did more damage than
Excellent.
than
Oh
Ivern.
wait, there was a Janna. Who am I kidding?
There was a Janna.
The only person who's doing a bunch of damage on Janna is me because I'm just auto attacking people and throwing out W's and recklessly.
True.
I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say it's nice. I'm gonna say it's a very nice number. Of course, I'm talking 65 hundo damage.
You're very close.
It's so much funnier because you would have
Yeah.
been closer if you said the other one.
Oh, is it the funny number?
It is.
Is it 6969?
It is
No.
69.95.
So it is like you would have been actually if you just said 6900, I would have given it to you 100%. So he's
Nice.
5 damage off of 7k. Not great, but again, that's not why you picked Ivern. You're not picking Ivern to do a bunch of damage. You're picking Ivern for the same reasons, and you're picking something like a Janna, something like a Seraphine. It's for the shields, the heals. Seraphine more so for damage. If you're going to play her ADC, of course, did the most damage on the team. And yeah, it was by a pretty solid margin too.
Yeah, so I suppose my question is, we do have the MVP vote up now. The poll is up. Who do you believe was the gamer of the evening here? Masuf in the top lane, Heimerdoodles or Rutier. It's cheater backwards. On the in the jungle, on the Jarvan 2 games there. Very impressive performance. Al Alpazlas
Doing great.
on in the mid lane on the Victor, Loker on the Jinx, or Cryogenas on the Janna. And I think you know what? It's not to influence the votes of chat, but I want to get your 2 perspectives on this. Who do you feel is the MVP of the series for Rise of the Middle Sticks?
All I know is that there's 2 right answers and 1 wrong answer. That's all
All
I
right.
really know about this one. Actually, no, there's 2 wrong answers, I'd say.
All right, let's start with the wrong answers then. Let's cross them off the board.
Okay, well that's not cool, but yeah, sure. We'll start with the wrong answers, which I think. Wait, hold on. Let me think. No, sorry. Just one wrong answer. Just one wrong answer.
All right,
And
let's cross. let's make it easier
Yeah.
for the people in chat thinking about their vote. Who's the wrong answer?
He did really good in game number 2. He did so well in game number 2. It was actually phenomenal. But game number 3 had a very questionable moment that I think you could go like, all right, we gotta cross you off the list, man. Like that. It's just one moment. It's just one little flash. It's just one little.
Yeah, we know who you're talking about.
Sometimes you believe a little too much. You believe in yourself, and you
yeah.
believe a little too hard, and you die. And that's life, I think.
That should have been a game-losing play, but luckily they were playing against that composition that couldn't thrive.
They were playing
the
against one
environment
of the
that they had.
worst. Yeah, one of the worst team
Yeah.
compositions I've ever seen in my entire life. A funnel
Yeah.
comp of all enchanters funneling nobody. Really, just exceptionally well
Well,
drafted.
they're funneling Wukong and Senna, which would have gone well again. It's the fact that Senna died every fight ever. And I feel like because you saw the pick, 96 stacks. Actually, I think 96 stacks was pretty late. It was like 26 minutes. And like, considering that is a fasting Senna, you should be farming stacks a lot more. You should be at like 120 by then. The whole thing. I think. Like, I'm sure I have a Senna one trick friend, always has like 120 stacks by this point in the game. So I mean, like that's what I'm kind of basing that off of. Similar skill level as well. So I mean, that's what you want to see. Not having that kind of output is going to hinder you a good bit. I think maybe if Senna, either way though, that's not the end of the day. It is Senna needing to also be spacing correctly, and it's very hard to space correctly against a Jarvan because it feels like you can't walk up ever. But we do have our MVP voting done. It is a tie between
Yes.
jungle and mid lane, which is
All right.
the correct answers, which is good.
All right. Okay, the two correct answers. Which is more correct? You've talked for a bit, so I'm gonna bring it to Kong Man.
That's fair.
All right, this is gonna be all right. This is the biased opinion of the jungler main. Obviously, the MVP is gonna be the jungler. Clearly, I would vote that because once he was given the Jarvan, it was basically free elo for him the entire time. If I had more space than this little casting booth I have, I would do a nice reenactment of how good the Jarvan was. But unfortunately, now is not the time for that, as we are pressed for time to get this MVP vote rolling. Because it's not very often we see a tiebreaker in the VRS. Usually, it's very one-sided.
Yeah. All right. Shogun, do you agree with that assessment, or do you perhaps think it's a mid laner?
I would say it's a mid laner. Personally, I think he played pretty exceptionally in game number 3. He also played pretty well in game number 2. He got solo killed by Ivern. Yes, but like let's not forget how well he still played after that game, because he was a more quiet carry, I think, in game number 2. Something you need to look at, and he allowed Loker to be an absolute madman. And you notice Loker in game number 3 is 3, and 10. A lot of assists. That's because of how well Victor was doing actually the damage. Topping damage. I think he might have I think Loker topped him in damage in game number 2, but I'm not 100% sure. Based on how close it is in game number 3. Oh my god, that was loud. Anyway, in game number 3, it was like super close in terms of damage. So it just makes sense that Loker would have had it in game number 2. But
so you believe in the mid laner?
I still believe it.
Listen,
he had a perfect game.
I have a counter argument to you.
Okay.
You're arguing that the Victor should be the MVP whenever he versed in Ivern.
Yeah.
Victor literally is just, hey guys, my name's Victor. Oh, take your damage.
He's beating up a tree. It's not fair.
Ivern's like, oh, friend of the forest. Oh, forest fires. I'm dead. Thank you, Victor.
Okay.
Look,
just because the Ivern can't survive, can't pressure the Victor, that's not Victor's fault.
So because Victor has the freest win of his career, you're like, MVP.
Listen, man, if you want to talk about freest things of their career, Jarvan got to play against the Sennas in games 2 and 3, and literally got
because he funneled into their lane.
For some reasons, no. I'm talking about mid to late game. Senna would be there's no world where Senna should ever have been in EQ distance, and a lot of the times Senna was in EQ distance or in some other CC distance, to where Senna should have to be EQ and Ardon, which happened a lot, but there were also plenty of times where Jarvan would be like, "Yeah, I'm in range of hitting Senna for zero reason at all." That's pretty hype. It's
All right. Well,
both sides had an easy time.
All right, so we've both
I
given our
suppose I will be
points.
I suppose I will be breaking the tie then. Um, well, typically I vote for the support, but I wasn't particularly impressed with the support this game. So I got to look at the champions there. No fiddlesticks picked. Very disappointed. But I've been a big fan of my main man in the jungle. That's right. Demacian royalty, Jarvan the Fourth. I'm a big supporter. I think he piloted the champion really well, and he exploited the weaknesses of the opposing team composition really well. Because sure, Senna and Seraphine positioned like absolute animals. However, Jarvan also noticed that and exploited it immediately. He was always there to pull the trigger and get those fights started and set up perfectly for the rest of his team to clean up. Now, I'm huffing copium when I play Jarvan, so I don't build expensive items. I do budget J4, which is just a terrible build. I personally don't. I know why you build Gore Drinker and those items because otherwise you just die immediately. But I think that overall the performance from the Jarvan in this series, minus the first game, which was just kind of a disaster overall for the size of Return of the Middle Sticks, I feel like Cheater played exceptionally well.
But okay.
Listen,
He only
Shogun.
had he only had 20 KP. Okay.
Listen, Shogun.
Out
We
of the
understand.
23 kills. I mean, what, 20 out of
Sugar.
23?
Okay,
Yeah, because it's
okay,
boosted.
Shogun, you got the prediction right. We only care about predictions. We don't care
I got
about who gets the
I got the
MVP first.
prediction exactly right. All I'm saying is the Senna on the other team in game number 3 had 100% KP. That's all I'm saying.
True. All right. Actually, the MVP is the Senna on the opposing team.
I agree.
And we saw that in the game. Senna single-handedly lost or won the game for Return of the Middle Sticks. So
I wouldn't
you know,
go that far. That seems a little mean.
okay. That's a little toxic. So yeah, we have our MVP available and on the board. I believe we have a graphic for it.
Yep, it should be
So
popping up here in just a moment.
zip zoom. There it is. Beautiful. There's the
And
Ritiek on the Jarvan. 3 games performed very well in games 2 and 3, getting the team ahead, getting a lot of kills, and getting a lot of tempo for the roster. So, good stuff to the side of the Return of the Middle Six, and of course, congratulations to Cheater for receiving the first MVP of the split. However, I think with that, it is time for us to start wrapping up here. But before we close, any final thoughts? Anything you want to say to the people, Kong Man? We can throw it back to the desk, of course.
oh,
Shogun
number
1-1. I agree with the message I just received. Shogun 1-1. Or
yeah,
1-0. One out of 1.
Yep.
Correct. Actually,
Yeah.
it's 2 out of 2 because I got the series.
That'll be tiebreakers. I'll put that in a separate
Oh,
message
okay.
because I also
Okay.
got the series.
Big dub.
Yep. So, number one thing that I want to say before we end the stream, Ivern is not a mid laner, as you could tell. He is a jungler. He is built for the jungle.
Well, hold on. Hold on. But what about the funny Twitch man, the Korean Twitch man, Last Shadow? He told me Ivern mid was good. Are you
It
telling
is.
me I was
No,
lied?
it's still good.
Yes, you were lied to.
Nope, wrong.
Listen, he is a
Played
jungler.
incorrectly.
Tell you how much of a jungler he is. He does not even have a different passive in ARAM. Shyvana has a different passive in ARAM. and she can be jungle and top.
You really want to?
That's a convincing argument. You know, I like the Ivern mid. I like the theory. Maybe pick a better carry to go with it than what you drafted this game. Shogun, any last words from you?
No, I think I said all I need to say.
Excellent.
GG.
Excellent. So yeah, that will be the end of the stream then tonight. If you enjoy what you see, make sure you hit the follow button so you always have updates on when we are going to be streaming both League of Legends and Valorant, because we have both games running during the week. We have leagues going every single day of the week. Of not the weekends, unless we have tournaments going on, but every other day we have amateur league action going on in the evenings. Tomorrow we will have the VTS having their debut series of the split, so that's going to be exciting. Make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. for that as well. If you would like today's games, they're going to be good tomorrow as well. Hopefully less Ivern mid. If there's an Ivern mid, I will cry. Of course, follow us on Twitter if you want to get updates on the games, the production, and other fun things, tournaments, and events that are held by the Victoris organization. If you want to get in on the action yourself, type !Discord in the chat. You can get access to the Victoris esports Discord, and you can get in on both the pre-made leagues and the draft leagues when they start up again in the next split, as they're all currently ongoing. But of course, teams are going to be looking for subs, and teams are going to be looking for scrim partners and things like that. So even just getting in on the ground floor is a great way to get in on the action. So all of that said, thank you all for watching. I have been Becky Rita. Of course, on the desk with me, Shogun and Kongman. We wish you all a great evening, and we'll see you next week.